Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has dragon family and fairy tale. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Crowfeast and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Dragon's Bane, Slayer Magic Useless. In the land of Magnolia, magic is considered one of the most necessary commodities due to how frequent people need to generate money or fight of the many monsters in the land. However, what is not well known is that there are other kingdoms with magic as well. Harjan Port was one of the few hubs that can transfer those that are from out of the country into the country or vice versa. In this town was a pink-haired teen who was stuck on a train and nearly puking his guts out. The conductor was looking at the boy rolling on the floor and trying to leave the train with some kind of blue cat that is wearing a green backpack. Please kill me now. Is he going to be alright? The cat looked at his friend. Oh yeah, he'll be fine. He gets like this whenever he is riding in a vehicle. I see, then shouldn't you be helping him now since the train just left? Looking behind the cat's side, seeing his friend being taken by the train and him screaming. Happy? Geez, such a problem. On the other side of town was a blonde-haired girl who was arguing with this old man about the lack of magic that was in town. At the same time trying to barter the price of the key down. But he was unaffected by her so-called sex appeal, even though he openly leering at her large breasts. But the door opened and entering the room was a blonde teen. He was wearing a black jacket and a white shirt underneath the jacket. The blonde eyes were dark blue with slits in them, and he had a bit of tan complexion, with him also having some kind of whisker marks on his face. He was looking at them with a blank expression on his face, along with smoothing out the wrinkles in his matching black pants and black shoes. Sorry about interrupting, please continue. The girl freaked while the teen continued to walk around the room. Wait, this isn't what it looks like. He went through the shop and picked up odds and ends that he looked at before putting them on the counter. How much for this? The man smiled. 64 gems please. The teen sighed. Do you take gold coins? He smiled. Is it really gold? Yes, it is. He pulled the coins out of his pocket and put them on the counter and saw the dollar signs forming in his eyes. Yes, this should cover the objects. Are you sure? I mean, I feel like you are just taking whatever I put on the table. How much are 64 gems to this? The old man was sweating at the boy staring at him. He was different from the girl. He was not going to accept something at face value, and while he might not show it, he can see the teen's magic. The power that was coming from him was massive, not that anyone else could tell. Only the best sensors or those that actually looked would see his overwhelming force. 4 gold coins would be sufficient. The teen smiled slightly. Good, here you go. He pushes 4 of the coins forward and took the rest and put them back into his pocket before leaving 2 more on the table. That is for the thing she is purchasing. He smiled and took the extra coins while watching the boy leave the building. Such a scary child, that one. Yeah, so the key? Yeah, he paid for it so you can leave with it. She screamed in joy and took out the door to find the man that paid for his key. But he was gone, leaving her wondering where he went. Over time she heard some women talking about meeting the legendary salamander and how he was supposedly one of the best fire mages in the entire country. But upon seeing him, she felt something going on with her body and it was causing her to act all gaga for the purple-haired man. However, she soon felt the control leave her after a pink-haired boy showed up and quickly broke the power he had on her. She realized rather quickly that he was using mind control magic with his ring. Ultimately, this incident leads to her running into a pink-hair slayer who was looking for someone named Igneal and thus was confronting the salamander. Thus began the meeting that would change her life down the road and lead to her many crazy adventures with the greatest guild in the country. Time skip. The blonde from before was lying on a nearby bench in the port looking up at the sky with a sad smile on his face. I wonder how everyone back home is doing since I left. He then flinched. Who am I kidding, they are probably angry at me. I ran away when they could be willing to help me, but I didn't want to throw everything into chaos. Then why did you run? The teen sighed, he closed his eyes and appeared in a large bright area of mixed colors before looking up to see a giant glowing dragon towering above him. It had mixed color scales and was massive. But he knew it could be smaller if it chose to be, but now was not the time for that. The dragon's look overall was that of a long slender body and 4 short limbs with claws at the end of them and horns coming out of his forehead. It had a glow about it, giving it a radiant look. I really don't want to talk to you. Tough, I'm the only person you can talk to. Yeah, sure, what do you think of this new country we are in? It is a beautiful country, but if I know one thing about Magnolia, it is going to be a center for those that claim to have the power to kill dragons. I thought you said they could kill dragons with their powers. In some sense you are correct. However, the truth of the matter is that it is setting them up to become dragons themselves. Like me? No, you remember. I'm you as much as you're me, especially after the dragon's rite ritual you took part in as a child. Yeah, not my favorite memory. Hey, I'm not any happier about it, but you don't hear me bellyaching over it, Naruto. Naruto frowned. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Also known to many as the Yellow Flash and the Crimson Death. People always talk about his parents as if they are the greatest and the kindest people in the world. But he saw the true them, the them that are only desiring power and status above everything else, even if it means torturing their own children to do it. He was their first child of 3, and the other 2 were just as corrupt as them. From his earliest age, he was always looked down on by his parents, never seen as unique as his siblings. He never knew why until he heard from his friends it was that his father's teacher that listened to a prophecy that a child born of a flash and crimson woman would give to the world the savior or the destroyer. So assuming this they assumed it was one of their younger children, since this prophecy didn't happen around the time of his birth. But that changed when he took part in the Rite of the Dragons, a special ceremony to see if the dragon souls that exist in the world will choose them as a host for one of their own and grant them power. His brother Boruto got the Dragon of Ice and his sister Mio got the power of Red Flames. He, on the other hand, was gifted with a rarity and the ability of a dragon that was heralded as a god among their people and those that worship the dragons. The celestial dragon, the pure scale dragon, the dragon of light, dragon of freedom, the dragon god of heaven, heaven's dragon, the list goes on. But he knew the dragon as Luminous. When it was revealed he was now the container of the strongest dragon to ever exist, his family freaked out, they feared what this meant for them. His siblings were furious his dragon was mightier than theirs and tried to say he was unworthy and that it should be switched around, but the ritual makers said it was impossible. The dragons choose their host, there was nothing that can change this. In time he was given harsher treatment than before and was imprisoned in his home while they bled him dry and forced him to increase their standings almost on par with the king himself. Naruto one day managed to get free from his torture room after his brother beat him badly along with his sister and escaped into the kingdom. There he ran into the king on accident and his 10-year-old daughter who quickly took him to his private hospital and treated him. There he told them the story of what he went through and the things he was forced to do. He agreed to take care of him from then on and ordered the knights to strip Minato and Kushina of everything. In time their name became mud to the rest of the clans and they were considered almost on the grounds traitors to the kingdom. Naruto, on the other hand, was given the title as a child of the king and named the future king of Estridia. Naruto feared the day he would become king and the time he was forced to leave his new home. More so that his parents still had support and were drumming up everyone they could to re-establish themselves, which finally led to an impasse. He was told that they were planning on facing the king and his family to gain control of him, so he did the best thing he could think of, removing himself from the kingdom and fleeing to another nation. This way his father, the king, was safe and that he could hopefully keep the peace in the country. Sadly, being here made him hate leaving his friends and loved ones behind, but it was for the best of the kingdom and everyone around him that he went away. Back to his current situation, he looked up at the dragon. Maybe so, but I feel responsible for the pain of my friends, but it is better than putting them in danger, no. We shall see, heads up, something is coming your way. Leaving the mindscape he looked up and saw a giant tidal wave coming straight at him and he freaked out. Holy shit. He quickly held his hand out and said. Holy barrier. Soon a giant sphere of light covered the entire city, preventing the water from entering the city and crashing into some of the buildings. Thus the damage was left to a minimum, but he could still feel people smashing into the barrier and what looked like a blue cat with a backpack on. What the hell? Once the waves stopped, he released the barrier and now was standing there seeing a woman with blue hair and a body of a mermaid with an urn. She was looking at the girl and yelling at her for dropping the keys. Celestial wizard, huh? Interesting, but too much trouble if she can't work with her spirits very well. Walking up to the two of them he coughed, causing the two women to look at him. The blonde recognizing him while the blue glared. What do you want, brat? Naruto said. Your attack would have leveled a good portion of the town if I didn't erect the barrier. I'm just here to say you need to learn a little more self-control. The blonde was paling at the sight of her summon, basically getting furious with him. Who the hell are you to talk down to me, human? Naruto sighed and his hand glowed before pointing it at her. Come back when you are ready to talk civilly with me. He then poured his holy magic out and soon sent her back to the celestial realm. Holy hell, how did you do that? Naruto looked at her. Long story, but I have magic that allows manipulating those that are aligned with holy and light magic. Lucy's eyes shined bright. So cool, you must be a powerful mage. Naruto smiled and rubbed the back of his head. Not really, I know several people from my old homeland that can still whoop my ass in different ways. I'm just great thanks to their training. I see. Looking over she saw that Natsu had removed the thing covering his arm and Shodi was a member of Fairy Tail. No way he is from Fairy Tail. He's not the only one. The cat showed his mark and Naruto sighed, figures he would run into one of the most powerful and yet dangerous guilds in the country. From the reports his father got while exploring political avenues with the king, he knew that from experience this place was full of mages like this guy. All firepower and not thinking of the environment that he would be destroyed in the process. Kinda annoying to be honest. So this guy, what is he? Naruto asked the cat. He is a fire dragon slayer, powerful in his own right, and even better, he is immune to all fire spells. Another thing is that guy is Boris, who is rumored to be a guild member of Titanos until they banished him for his illegal actions. Naruto sighed and walked up to the two of them. Hey, where you going? Naruto looked at the cat. Look, I understand your friend is angry about him using your guild's name, but he is going to destroy the town in the process unless someone gets involved. He quickly jumped between them, leaving Natsu furious. What the hell, man, why are you standing between me and this asshole? Naruto glared slightly at him. Because I don't want you making more of a mess than you already have. Huh? He pointed to the port and the team looked a little ashamed. Gramps was going to have his ass again. Doesn't matter who it is, I will crush you both. He fired several odd fireballs at both of them, but Naruto held out two fingers and a ball of light formed at the end of them. Aiming it, he fired the ball, erasing the fireballs in an instant and hitting the pompous fool in the chest. The light burned brighter and brighter until he came crashing down to the ground with a thud, with his pure white eyes showing he was knocked out. So cool. Naruto turned to the pink-haired teen who'd had fire coming out of his hands. You and me now. Naruto shook his head, this guy was a hothead for sure. Big Neil's kid for sure. How'd you figure that? Because Firehead was just like this brat, always fighting and ready for one against anyone that got in his way. He even claimed to be a dragon king, at least when I was not around, otherwise that fool knew better than to claim that title. Good to know. Look, Natsu, right? He nods his head. Naruto pointed at the incoming army that was charging them. I think we need to deal with that first before we consider fighting each. Naruto felt the back of his shirt grabbed and them running for their lives from the army that was pursuing them. Naruto sighed, his life could not be typical, could it? Magnolia. In the large town that was home to Fairy Tail, Naruto and Lucy were standing before the guild building and telling them that this is it. Entering the building, they quickly saw chaos ensue, with a brawl breaking out with the members and Naruto doing nothing but sweat dropping from it. Whoa. Indeed, friend, this is just like home. Yet to a lesser degree. So Natsu's finally back, let's settle our score. Out of nowhere, a black-haired teen wearing only his underwear was standing there with an angry look on his face. He could see the Fairy Tail stamp on his chest before watching him charge into battle. Naruto then saw a brown-haired woman downing a barrel of beer, wearing nothing more than a bikini top and brown jeans. Turning from her, he saw another man enter the brawl with white hair and a scar on his face. He was shouting about being a real man and was sent flying by the black-haired boy and Natsu. Geez, is there one normal person here? Hello, you two must be new. Turning around, he blushed at the sight of a pretty white-haired woman with blue eyes wearing a maroon dress. It's Marahan, I can't believe I'm meeting you in person. Naruto watched as the blonde went all fangirl on this supposed celebrity of the guild. He slowly stepped away from her before seeing the big man from before flying at them. Without warning, he grabbed him in midair, flipping him around and put him on the ground while dusting him off. Watch where you were going, big fella, you would have hit those two. The man raised an eyebrow. That was some feat of strength and speed. He didn't see him move at all, but yet he managed to catch him, flip him around, and land him on his feet. This meant he had some real skill. Impressive, you are a real man. Naruto sweat dropped. Thank you. No problem, but it looks like I need to get serious. He summoned his magic and formed a monster arm while the others were gathering up magic. Naruto saw that they were getting dangerous, so without warning he said. Light suppression. Soon the room was covered in bright light and all the magic was drained from the air and their bodies. Everyone was trying to summon their magic, but the problem is that they were not able to reach their magic, while Naruto huffed from having to waste his magic on stopping other mages from firing off spells in a closed space. Soon a small man walked into the room, showing himself to be an elderly man and wearing a jester hat. Who did this? Naruto looked at him. I did. The man walked up to him and soon cried tears and hugged his leg. Thank you, my boy, you saved me from having to repair the guild hall again. No problem, this spell wears off in an hour though, so don't get used to it never happening. But I can see things are pretty bad shape anyway, with the destroyed chairs and tables. Yes, unfortunately, this is a common thing here in the guild. Naruto smiled slightly. Should I use that spell? And make the old man's life easier and draw more suspicion to yourself with your level of skill and versatility? Sure, why not, doesn't matter to me in the least bit. Naruto then held out his other hand and said. Secret skill. Light fixture. Makarov watched as the hall was repairing itself. Everything was turning back to the way it was before the brawl broke out and soon the walls were fixing themselves as well. Hell, some damages were done to the guild years ago and he saw them self-repairing themselves on the spot. Amazing. Naruto smiled at the old man. Yeah, this is a special spell from where I'm from. It can be used to fix up a building and room within seconds. The best thing is that now that the spell has been cast it remains activated for the next month. If you want I can. No. Leave the spell on. This means no more repair bills for the rest of us. Hell, I'll pay you for the spell itself if that means I never have to fix the guild hall again. Oh, okay. Naruto saw the man still hugging his leg and crying tears of joy all over his pants. If it is alright with you could you let go of my leg? Makarov saw what he was doing and quickly jumped away. Forgive me for that young lad, so you two are our new recruits. Lucy is I'm not sure. I've got a lot of things going on I don't think I can join a guild at this time. The dragon in his head rams its head against his head and causes a minor headache. This is his way of saying, don't be stupid, just join the guild asshole. You need friends. Well I hope you can reconsider, it would be great to have you in the guild and a great way to get money for yourself. Naruto smiled. I'll think about it. He gained a glint. Why don't you do a probation period? Probation period. Yes, become a member a couple of months and if you still don't like it, you can leave. Naruto sighed. Fine, I'll do that then. Never thought of myself as a guild member, more of a knight really. Naruto ducked out of the way of a punch to his head, can I help you Natsu? Yeah you and me, we've got a score to settle from Higromo port. Oh yeah, I forgot about that you really want to do this. I'm the one person you can't beat no matter how hard you try. Trust me on that one. He gained a fire in his eyes. Then prove it asshole. Naruto sighed. Anywhere in particular you want to do this? He smiled. Yeah there is a training ground out back we can do this. Makarov smiled, now he can get a red on this boy. The reason he wanted him to join the guild was that he could sense his power. While the choker around his neck was suppressing a good portion of the energy that is flowing in his veins, he knew that the power itself was massive. Hell, he was sure Unleashed his magical reserves are on par with Gilded at the least, and that was him making the baseline of his power. Plus with his versatility with light magic, which itself is a rarity in their country, he showed that he was a versatile warrior and someone that spoke from years of training and combat experience. Or just he was put through the ringer with real trainers that never took just good enough as an answer. The group had quickly gathered outside to watch the battle of their salamander and the new guy that seemed confident he can't lose to Natsu. Alright, this match is one-on-one and will go until someone is either knocked out or admits defeat, is that clear? Yeah, let's get this going. Natsu had fire coming off his body in waves, while the rest of the guild was placing bets on who would win. Most were betting on Natsu due to his dangerous nature and powerful magic, while Marahin herself was placing her bet on Naruto, seeing the same thing as the master, and Elfman was doing the same. Begin. Naruto took off in a mad dash with his fist covered in fire. Naruto just waited for him before moving out of the range of one of his overextended punches. This led to him getting chopped in the back of the neck, crashing face first into the ground. Natsu quickly recovered, covering his leg in fire and charging him again. Come on, take me seriously. Naruto just dodged his strikes with ease, while just barely moving out of the range of the punches and then appearing behind him or at the side of him. He would then trip him and send him crashing to the ground with a thud. This went on for a few minutes until finally he put his hands in front of his mouth and shouted. Fire Dragon Roar. A massive torrent of fire came straight at him and Naruto said. I guess I can take this serious now. He held his hand out and summoned a weapon into his hand before cutting the attack in half. This move proved to be for best since the fire dispersed after being fired at him. Naruto held a large blue and purple and red katana in his hand and aimed the blade at the boy. Dragon-based moves don't work on me. Oh yeah, just cause you to cut my fire breath attack, don't mean shit. Naruto sighed and quickly charged the boy and cut him along his stomach with a small cut. Natsu smiled. That all you got with that sword? Let me show you my real power. He tried calling on his fire magic, but it didn't appear. He tried again and finally was angry enough to shout, what the hell just happened? Naruto sighed and put the sword on his shoulder. I cut off your dragon magic. You see, this sword I call Dragon's Bane is a gift. With one cut it can render dragons and dragonslayers without their powers if they are reliant on them. Seeing your hand-to-hand combat skills, I would have to agree with my assessment, you're relying on your magic more than physical strength and durability. So I'm going to end this with one strike. Naruto sent his sword away in a flash and his cheeks puffed up. The group was shocked at what he was about to do. He puffed up his mouth and released a torrent of fire from his mouth while saying. Fire Dragon Roar. Natsu was hit with the full brunt of the attack and knocked into a tree, knocking him out. He was burnt with minor burns on his body, but overall he was okay. Well, that is the end of that mess. Makarov was shocked, this boy, he was stronger and faster than expected. Not only does he possess a sword for dealing with dragons and dragon slayers, but he also seems to have the ability to copy other dragon slayers and use their own powers against them. Along with his light magic, this boy might be the future ace of the guild if he gets him to join. That and he can cast a spell to stop them from doing repairs on the guild all the time is even better. In Naruto's home kingdom, however, there was a white-haired girl with black armor looking out on the horizon. She was staring into the unknown while signing into the sky. She had red eyes that were shut and her spear lying by her side. Shining Resonance, the song she sings in the beginning, once the musical piece finished, she looked out with her eyes and body glowing with power. I know you're out there, Naruto-kun. Soon we the Dragoneers will come to you and bring you home. No matter what, we will not let you fight any battles alone, after all, you are our precious person like we are to you. She smiled slightly, soon my love we will be in each other's arms again, after all, you are the one true king of this land. Chapter end. Chapter 2. Big Adventure. And Magnolia Naruto sighed while walking back into town. He just got done with a small-time job that allowed him to be gone only for a couple of days. Simple extermination job that required him to kill some nearby skeleton monsters that were being used by a necromancer. Overall, the man was more of the summoner type and not the hand-to-hand type or the use of weapons type. Essentially once Naruto used some light magic to turn the undead into ash, he knocked the man out and brought him to the Rune Knights. But he thinks they overreacted when he pointed out he was with Fairy Tail and they seemed to just examine the entire terrain for damage. They were shocked in hell, they paid him double what he is owed due to the fact he was the first one not to burn down a major site or destroy large areas on the map. Arriving back in town Naruto sighed, things had been quite hectic for the last month. More so since beating up Natsu and taking his fire magic from him and using it himself, he found him as a constant bother. Naruto just flipped him over or just knocked him out when he got too close and this led to him coming back later for another shot. Naruto ultimately just ignored him the best he could before finally finding the energy to bother. Hell, after that fight he soon found himself fighting other members from time to time. More it was this guy named Gray and Elfman that constantly challenged him to duels, but he thwarted them showing his mastery of light magic and the fact that while he was only using powers of a slayer, he can master their skills still. Especially since Natsu used about every move in his arsenal, so he was able to copy most of them at this point. But arriving in town he was thinking about what his partner was telling him about joining the guild more permanently. I mean he got a guild mark on his arm and it was white with a black outline. But it could fade away after the month ended if he felt that he didn't want to join the guild. However, he was still deciding if he should join due to everything that has happened in the past. There was no doubt his home was going to come looking for him and while Fairy Tail was strong, he was aware that most of his friends could easily thrash these mages with ease. That was not even counting the Black Princess and her power 3 different dragons that she controls. Naruto also knew that joining the guild would mean that he would have to tell them about his past along with his other secrets and he was not ready for that. But he was taken out of his thoughts when he saw someone coming into town carrying a heavy horn decorated with fine jewels. Naruto saw the woman carrying it was wearing heavy armor around her body and a blue skirt while having a silver earring hanging down from her ears. She had 2 brown eyes and long red hair that made Naruto pale a bit at seeing her. After all his mother had the same hair and he grew to fear the hair due to it being the sign he was going to be whipped again or that he was going to have his magic forcefully drained from his body. The woman saw the blonde teen standing there in the distance and saw that his shoulder had her guild's mark on it. He was wearing a black sleeveless shirt along with a pair of baggy pants and a pair of black boots. Must be someone that just joined recently, should make him feel welcomed. Hey you come over would ya? Naruto paled even more and started sweating while slowly walking up to the woman. She frowned, she had seen those kind of eyes herself, in fact she remembered seeing them in her dreams and on a little red hair girl that would stare off into the unknown in fear. Someone that feared being beaten, starved and tortured by those that were bigger and meaner than her. Such sad eyes. I guess I need to take this slow. Sorry to spook you, but I saw our guild mark on your shoulder, so I thought to get to know you, since I'm guessing you just joined right? Yeah I just joined a month ago. Naruto looked at her, who are you exactly? Apologizes I'm Urza Scarlet and I'm the woman everyone calls the strongest woman in Fairy Tail right now. Oh interesting so you are the one that everyone seems to pale at the thought of showing up at the guild. Yes because I do not tolerate the destruction and trouble they cause all across the land. I figured that much given that Natsu almost burned down a port town if I wasn't there to stop him from doing that. So I guess I have to punish him later. Don't worry about it, I already got even with him I guess considering he challenges me to a fight every day since I first showed up and defeated him with ease. Urza's eyes went wide and looked at the person next to her walking to the guild. After all, it was not every day she heard of someone that could go toe-to-toe with Natsu and win without a real effort. In fact the only people that can do that were herself, Marahin when she was still training, Master, Gilderts, and Laxus. Other than them she was not sure there was too many other mages that can go toe-to-toe with him in a straight-up fight. That is interesting, so how did you beat him? Naruto smiled slightly, still keeping wary of the woman, even if his partner is telling him to stop being such a wimp. Well, it is thanks to my sword that I can cut off Dragon Slayer powers and use them myself if I see at least one move they use for it. That is good, nice to know if something goes wrong with Natsu, then I can rely on you to stop him when necessary. Oh, you don't have to worry about that, I mostly rely on my light magic to keep things in order. Light magic really? Urza noticed that was a rare brand of magic that even though the master could use some of the basic spells for it, he was not a master of it. Yeah, it is my primary magic that I work on and use to deal with people that come after me. Interesting. Urza saw the guild inside, seeing someone yelling about a return and the guild being deathly quiet. Naruto's sweat dropped. She must really be that scary then. Indeed, partner, but it would seem more she is the serious one of the guild. Yeah, that is a scary thing to think about how she disciplines them. Oh, for God's sake, grow some balls, kid. She is not like that bitch. She is a nice person to her guild, just the one that takes the rules to heart and the opinion of the public to heart as well. I get it, but it is hard to break a bad habit. I get it, kid, but just relax, she is not going to hit you or anything. Besides, if she did you could take her down, I know it. Thanks Illuminus, I needed that. Anytime, brat. Upon walking into the guild hall everyone was quiet and he quickly snuck by the stunned people and gave Mira his mission statement along with the cut to the guild. He tried to sneak out the door, but the minute the door squeaked he heard someone shouting. Hold it, Naruto. Yes. He went ramrod straight and stared at the woman in question with fear in his eyes. Urza stared at him in confusion before sighing. Look, I was only going to ask if you would be willing to help me out with a mission that I need to take care of tomorrow. Huh, but why me? She smiled. Well, if the rumors I'm hearing now from some of the people in the guild is true, then you defeated Natsu, Gray, and Elfman, making you stronger than most. So I want your assistance with this big problem, if you would please give us your aid. I understand you are here on probationary means, but I hope this shows that we are the right guild to join permanently. Naruto looked at her and saw everyone staring at him and wanting him to try this out, so he relented. Fine, but don't expect me to immediately join as soon as this is over. Fair enough, we will meet at the train station at 7 tomorrow. Naruto nodded his head and head out the guild, wondering what the hell did he just sign up to. Next day, train station. Naruto sighed, he knew this would be trouble. Not only was he on a mission with Lucy, who by no means was a high-class mage yet, but he was also there watching Gray, surprisingly wearing clothes, and Natsu butting heads. He knew well powerful if those two didn't stop fighting soon, then Urza would show up and shut them up. So getting up from his seat he went up to the two boys and with one quick set of punches knocked them down. Hey asshole, what was that for? Yeah, mind your own business. Naruto looked at them with boredom and had a ball of light glowing on the tip of his index fingers. Want me to show you the light? The two paled. No, we'll be good, right buddy? Aye. Lucy was shocked and Naruto sighed while dismissing the ball of light. Look, I get you two don't like each other for some reason and I don't care to know. But for now I need you both to put that aside and start preparing to fight side by side if this happens to be as big as Urza senpai says it is. Naruto then glared and flared his aura, showing a dragon hovering above him, or I will force you to get along when I chop you in half and tape you back together with each other, making the other half of the other person. Is that clear? Both paled and hugged each other and were shouting. Sure thing, we'll be the best of buddies. Aye. See Lucy, he is doing a better job than you. Happy was chewing on a fish. Shut up, cat. Naruto saw that she was holding some kind of shivering white animal with a golden horn for a nose. He figured this must be another summon that she has gained, but it was not very powerful, so it must just be for something similar to keeping a pet. Sorry I'm late everyone. Urza appeared with a large luggage of clothes, causing Naruto to feel his eyes pop out of his head. What the hell, that is insane. Yeah, hey, you might want to do that trick, make it easier for the poor woman. Yeah, and save on space in the train too. Naruto walked up to Urza and without warning he held his hand out and it glowed to cover her luggage. Light configuration. Space containment. In seconds Urza saw all of her luggage disappear and appear in a small ball of light that he then flings at her. Before she can react, it hits her arm and soon appears as a weird-looking rune. Huh? I use my magic to put all of your luggage into your arm, this way we save space and you can draw out whatever you need during the trip. I see, but a little more warning would be nice, but thank you, this should make moving around and fighting easier for me. Naruto nodded his head and soon they were about to get moving to the train, but Natsu said. Hey Urza, I have one condition before I come along with you. Shut up, idiot. Do you have a death wish? Oh, what is that? Natsu gripped his fist. Alright, I want a rematch when we get back to Fairy Tail. Lucy gasped with happy and Gray was looking at him like an idiot while Naruto sighed. Natsu, you can't beat me, so what makes you think you can beat Urza? Because I know for a fact if I want to fight you again I have to beat her, and seeing how far I've come in such a short time I'm certain I can win. Urza smiled and responded. Yes, I can see you've gotten stronger, but if you are stronger than me is still to be seen. So I will accept your challenge. Alright, I'm all fired up. The momentum he had changed when the train started moving and he turned blue in the face. You're pathetic, Natsu, 1 minute you are eager to fight and the next you're like this. It's weird to see it so many times, got to be rough for him. Urza smiled, but Naruto walked up to him and with his hand on his forehead it glowed. Natsu soon gained his color back and was sitting up without any pain or feeling of sickness. Naruto took his seat again and said. That should last the rest of the train ride. Don't overdo it, Natsu. Thanks. Urza asked. What did you do? Naruto smiled slightly. Some trick with my light magic that I can do where I removed his motion sickness problem and allow him to ride vehicles without trouble. I could make it last longer, but I think it should be fine for this train ride, and if more is needed I'll apply later. Interesting, Naruto, where exactly did you learn light magic exactly? It's not exactly a common magic in Fiori. How is it that rare? Gray nodded to Lucy's question. Extremely, among most magical spells it is one of the coveted of all magic. Well, there are stuff with light magic in it or some basic spells most never have this level of control of versatility. Even the master who has some light spells only has some of the basic forms of the magic and stuff that ties back to the guild as the rank of guild master. I see, so to see someone like Naruto use light magic as he has to suppress magic, create powerful barriers, and even fix damages in places is rare. Exactly. Naruto looked sad at the question. I learned it from my old country land. Where exactly? Naruto frowned deepened. Look, it is a country outside of Fiori, can we please drop the subject, it's not exactly a comfortable one. Well, Natsu and Gray wanted to press on, Urza ordered them to stop. Finally the group got onto the subject of why they were there and she started with Eisenwald and something about a dark artifact they were looking for. She explained what she heard and what she believed needed to be done at this point. So let me get this straight, going on a rumor we are going to be trying to hunt down a dark guild that might have some kind of powerful dark artifact in their midst. Yes, and I'm not stupid enough to believe I can take on a whole guild by myself, so that is why I recruited all of you. She looked serious. We are storming the Eisenwald guild. Sounds like fun. Oh man, I'm fired up. He started to set his seat on fire until Naruto pulled out a knife. Cut it out or I'll cut off your power again. He stopped and waved his hands. Sorry. Good. Naruto put his knife in his lap while Urza looked at the weapon in confusion. Didn't you say that it was a sword that did that? He smiled and spun the knife around before it turned into a small chakudo. My weapon is made by magic, so I can turn it into any weapon that I want to turn it into. Cool. Urza was imagining if she could do the same thing and how much less effort it would be to go out and buy magical weapons and how cheaper it would be. So does it have any other abilities other than affecting dragon slayers? Yeah, but I would like to keep those to myself if you wouldn't mind. Fair enough. Lucy then got some food while trying to get the price dropped for her due to how adorable and sexy she was. Sadly, it didn't work well until Naruto flashed a smile to the woman that was working the cart. She looked like a boy and they got a discount. When he told Lucy, she felt heartbroken that she was not able to pick that up. Urza, I've been meaning to ask, what kind of magic do you use? That's a good question, Lucy. Happy pitched in. It's really pretty, she makes her enemies bleed a lot. Lucy's sweat dropped. I wouldn't say that is pretty. Personally, I think Gray's is prettier. Soon he crafted some ice into the fairy tale symbol and he showed it off. Oh, I get it now, Natsu's fire and your ice. I didn't think of it like that. Both snorted. No, I just hate this guy. They glared at each other until they saw Urza's glare. Upon the train stopping, everyone was off the train and talking about their next step until Happy pointed out. Hey, where's Natsu? Turning around, the group saw he was taking off with the train screaming for them. Naruto sighed. Great, we have to go after him, the spell is about to wear off. How could I have forgotten Natsu? This is unforgivable, I need someone to hit me for my penance. Urza asked as she clenched her fist, looking aggressively at her teammates. Naruto sighed and saw everyone flinch, but he decided to be nice and kind of get a little payback in his mind for women of his family. He smacked her on the ass, causing her to squeal and turn beet red. There, you were punished, let's go. Hey, you can't just smack her on the ass like that, Lucy stated but was ignored. Urza was still blushing at the feeling of his hand on her ass. It was not bad. The group found a magical car and Urza was driving like a mad woman while the others rode in the back until they saw an explosion rocking the entire train. Then Natsu fell off the train and landed on Gray and both went tumbling onto the ground. They started arguing while Urza apologizing about what happened and slamming his head into her armor. The group soon knew they were heading to Mishiba Station and knew they needed to move quickly. Natsu described the flute that he saw and Lucy said it was lullaby and that it was death magic. The group quickly got a move on while Naruto sat up next to Urza after giving Natsu another dose of his magic to keep him puking again. Brer out on the roof and was screaming for her to calm down and not overload the plug or drain herself dry. Naruto knew that Gray was right and could sense her magical reserves were at about half. Voluminous, I think we should replenish her magic. For someone not sure he wants to join the guild and be friends with everyone here, you sure are going out of your way to help them. Now is not the time. Fine, just touch her and I will take care of the rest, shouldn't cost me much. Hey Urza. What? We can't stop, I know you guys are worried about me. It's not that, I know how to help you while also not draining yourself completely. How? I have to touch you, okay? She blushed a little remembering him smacking her ass as repentance. Okay, but don't get any ideas. I only allowed earlier for my mistake. Got it. Naruto grabbed her arm and in seconds he let the dragon flood her body with magic. Within seconds the cart speed up more than before and they were racing to the train station. What could Eisenwald want? What is their goal? Whatever it is, we will stop them. Urza looked forward with determination until they arrived at the main entrance to the train station. The minute they got off the vehicles they started talking to the guards, well attempted. Urza just headbutted the ones that were not fast enough to answer and the boys feared her anger turning on them. Lucy just wondered what is wrong with this girl. The Dark Guild is inside. Naruto sighed. Yeah, next time tell them who we are before knocking them out, it would save us trouble. She blushed at this blunder and they quickly took after her and followed the trail of knocked out soldiers. Upon arriving at the main station floor, they saw Eisenwald standing there in full force, while one man with black hair, white jacket and pants, and black shirt standing there glaring at Natsu. At the top of the room was Eriger, the Grim Reaper, and the person that was known as the monster of the guild and the ace. He had tattoos on his body and had a blue scarf around his neck and wearing baggy blue pants and sandals on his feet. Welcome, step into our parlor, fairy tale flies. You're Eriger the Reaper. Urza was gathering the magic in her body and her hair was starting to float around. Yes, and this is where you all pay for interfering with our revenge. He floated into the air and Happy pointed out he was using wind magic. After all, what does this train station have that can maximize the flute's power? Lucy pointed out. The speaker system, you plan on using it over the speakers. What could possibly have against the people of this town to do something like this? They are nothing more than ants that scurry around not knowing of the injustice that was done to us all those years ago. We are now ready to finally put those people in their place and show that they should not have ignored our injustice. But killing them won't help, it is only going to be making things worse. Lucy tried to reason with the man but he laughed. We've given up getting our rights back, so we plan to make everyone suffer for it. He got higher into the air before saying, I leave these flies to the rest of you. He was gone in a blur and Urza shouted. Natsu, Gray, go after him. With your combined strength you can defeat Eriger. Both teams were having another glaring contest before Naruto smacked them on the head and had them by the collars. That moving idiots. He threw them down the hall. Hey, they're getting away. They won't get far. One man wearing a headdress quickly used his cloth to reach the higher floor. The Great Rail won't let them get far. I'm coming too. I owe that pink hair fool. From that one disappeared into the shadows, leaving the rest of the guild members for Naruto, Urza, and Lucy. Lucy was panicking while Urza summoned a sword into her hand, but Naruto motioned for her to stand down. He then gripped his fists and fire exploded around them. I'll deal with this, Urza, you just watch. But even you can't take this many people at once, Naruto. Yeah, we can help. Naruto smiled at Lucy and Urza and said. Don't worry, this should be easy for me. The Dark Guild grunted at his brush off of them and charged him. Naruto leapt into the air and with the image of a dragon in the background he said. Fire Dragon Wing attack. The attack hit the group of dark wizards and they were all knocked out from the attack minus a few that got out of range of the strike. What the hell? Are all fairy tale wizards this strong? This is crazy, I didn't think they have another dragon slayer in their guild. Urza was the most shocked, she heard he could use fire dragon slayer magic like Natsu, but he looked as good with as he was. Lucy, how did Naruto learn Natsu's magic? From what he told us, he watched Natsu use it, understood the principle behind it, and then cut him to have some of his blood on his weapon, and then it transferred into him, creating a core for him to use this magic. Other than that, he watched Natsu attack him with different moves and just learned from those soon afterwards. Naruto then charged at the group shouting. Fire Dragon Iron Fist. With that punch he crashed through the Dark Guild members still standing, sending them flying all across the room. He then turned off the fire magic inside. See, Urza, these guys were not worth the time. That was until he sensed someone above him and coming down. He had some kind of whisker marks on his face and some weird top hair. Time to die, scum. Naruto looked at him with boredom, and with a small ball of light at his fingertips he fired at the man, sending him into the ceiling before falling down. He caught him in his palm before dropping him to the ground with a thud. Urza, why don't you head outside and warn the people about what is going on? You're right, they saw one of the members disappearing into the distance, Urza shouted. Lucy, go after that one. He is probably going to find Erriger. Lucy freaked. Huh? Just do it. Lucy and Happy took off running away from the scary night. Naruto started rounding up all the mages on the ground while talking to Halluminous. This feeling, I don't like it lately. Ever since he started using Natsu's fire-slaying magic, he has been feeling pain coming from inside of him. He knew what this meant. That is my power coming through now. You can't deny it anymore, you have to train my power soon, or it is going to consume you when you use it. No, not after the last time. The flashback of a dragon standing over the remains of a village, the beast roaring into the sky while standing on the bodies of several dead people. If I use it again, the result is going to be the same. Naruto, you can't run from this. I chose you as my partner because I knew if there was anyone that could control my power, then it is you. You're asking me to throw away everything that I have been and go back on the promise I made to the kingdom. Sometimes promises are meant to be broken. But let me ask you this, how are you going to protect everyone from monsters like the dragons without using my power? You know the sword and light magic is not going to be enough. Eventually you are going to either be forced to use my power out of frustration or lack of choices. If you don't, then you are going to lose everything anyway before you finally use my power. Just think about it, you know I'm right. I'm not saying you have to do it now, but you can't rely on what you are doing now to get through all your problems. You didn't use my power in the kingdom because of what happened and the promise you made to the king and those friends of yours. But they are not here, they are not in danger of you using the power, you have new friends. They are going to be there to help you through this, and in time they are going to be the reason you will control this power. Do you really think I can? Like I said, I chose you, there is no reason you can't. Just trust in me and believe in yourself and you will learn. I'll think about it when this mission is over. That's all I ask you, Naruto. Now you better get going, looks like something has changed outside and it is not good for you. Back in the real world, Naruto saw out the window there was some kind of winder barrier surrounding them and he frowned. Learning more of his dragon powers would have to wait, he had more pressing matters to deal with now. Chapter end. Chapter 3. Magic Poisoning, Revelation, and Dragon God. Naruto looked at the wind barrier that was around the train station and saw no weakness to the spell. He didn't specialize with barrier spells like this unless they were rune created or maintained. If he can't see it, he can't decipher how to break it or dispel it, even with his light magic. After healing up Urza, who rushed into the wind barrier and injured her arm, she started interrogating the guild members at this time to find a way to bring it down. That is until they heard Gray. Urza? Gray, what are you doing here? I thought you were with Natsu. We split up, but listen, the target is Clover. This caused Urza's eyes to widen and he continued, they are planning to attack the guild conference and use the flute to kill the guild masters. Urza turned to the man she was interrogating. Why didn't you tell me? Soon Gray approached and said. He was not going to say a thing. Urza, who would he tell us information about beating his boss? Right, you're right, but the problem now is that we can't get past the wind barrier. Yeah, I saw it, anything that touches it gets torn to shreds. I know I tried, but thanks to Naruto I was able to be healed before this. Something dawned on Urza, wait, I remember a man named Kageyama who was supposed to break the lullaby seal. We need to find him, he can dispel the wind barrier. The dispeller, huh? Sounds good, I think he was after Natsu, so we can go and find him wherever Natsu is. The two quickly took off while Naruto was outside waiting at the entrance of the building. The reason he did not follow them is because he did not want them to see him in his condition. Naruto felt his stomach twisting in knots, it was keeping him from being able to stand up at points, his skin was on fire, and at the same time he could feel his magic overwhelming his senses. His nose was smelling different scents all over the building, and his ears were picking up more noise than normal. Finally, he could feel something coming through underneath his skin like hot knives cutting into his flesh. Naruto sat there for a few minutes until he saw the group rushing over to him, he quickly stood up on his feet and followed them to the barrier. While there, he saw them arguing about the barrier and trying to break through, but sadly, it did not pan out like they hoped and ultimately they couldn't figure out how to get through until Natsu screamed in shock, remembering something. We can use Lucy's spirits. Lucy was confused and so was everyone else, so he continued, back at Everlu's mansion, I remember being dragged through the celestial world with Virgo and we can do the same thing to appear on the other side of the barrier. Yeah, but normal people can't survive in their world and plus we need another celestial wizard on the other side to help us. Natsu was confused by her explanation. Okay, in short, we would need another celestial wizard on the other side of the barrier to help us. I don't get your magic, just use your key. Natsu was fired up, needing to save Makarov, who was like a second father to him and someone that he looked up to ever since he first showed up at the guild. Lucy shook her head in frustration while explaining the seriousness of entering the celestial world as a violation of contract rights. The reason she was okay with it before is that it was Everlu's key. Suddenly Happy started to freak out as well, and this sent everyone falling backwards while he started yelling he remembered. Within seconds he produced a golden key in his hand and Naruto could guess was a celestial key since Lucy was complaining about him stealing Virgo's key. How did you get the key? I got it from Virgo. She handed it to me after Everlu was arrested due to his contract with her being broken at this time. Great, Happy, and thanks, but for now we have to figure a way out of the barrier. Naruto coughed lightly before saying. Wait, I think the reason he brings this up is because I heard Virgo's ability has something to do with digging. Maybe she can burrow a hole that will get us on the other side of the barrier. She can. Urza was showing shock at this information. Seriously? Gray too was shocked. You're right, Naruto, silly kitty, why didn't you say anything before? She was hugging him, but he then pointed out. Someone was pinching my face. She bowed to the cat begging for the key at this point and he agreed on the terms. He got a lot of fish after this mission. In time they summoned the spirit and it turned out to be a pink hair maid with chains on her hands, giving everyone a second look. Lucy complained that she looked different while Natsu was complimenting her and wanting to see her previous look, freaking out Gray and Urza. I'm afraid we don't have a lot of time, can we talk the terms of the contract after this, Virgo? Of course, mistress. You really have to call me that. Virgo had her eyes locked onto the whip so she asked. How about queen? No. Princess. Lucy smiled at this. Oh yeah, that's much more like it. The boys just deadpanned at this before they watch her dig a hole. They quickly filed through the hole while taking the injured Kageyama. Upon exiting the hole, Naruto quickly sensed out the wind user's energy and found him almost a clover, and knowing that he only had enough energy for a little bit longer before his body finally shut down, he made a snap decision. I got a lock on Eriger, I'm going to stop him. Naruto soon glowed brightly and was gone in a flash of gold, leaving no protest to his comment. Gray was shocked by his power having the capability to teleport, while Urza noticed two other people were missing, while Kageyama was bragging to them. Where's Natsu? Gray also noticed. Happy is gone as well. Close to the city of Clover, Eriger the Reaper was close to making into the city limits, but then he saw something bright appear in front of him. Looking down, he was shocked to see it was one of the flies from earlier. Growling, he pointed his hand at him. How did you get here so quick? Huh, guess you didn't know I can teleport at the speed of light. Regardless, who are you to stand in the way of my vengeance? Me? I'm just a guy that doesn't want innocent people to be killed by a prick that had too much pride to admit that maybe his profession was too much trouble to deal with. What did you say? Eriger aimed his hands at him and casted several crescent-shaped wind blades at him, but Naruto just turned into light and became intangible. But the pain was getting worse through his body that he felt his arms were now almost completely cut through from beneath the skin. I don't have time to mess around with this guy, I need to finish him now, so without warning he aimed his left palm at him and shouted. Light configuration. Perfect cube. A bright cube formed around Eriger and he laughed. Is this really the best you can do, boy? He then aimed his hand at the cube but saw his magic one come out. Naruto smirked at him and answered his hidden question. The reason you can't do anything is because your powers are sealed off in the cube. Only physical attacks can work in the prism, but sadly for you I'm not going to let you get out. Naruto coughed violently that he felt his chest was growing heavier the more magic he was drawing out. So with one swift pointing of his right hand he shouted, this is the end. Light configuration. Holy lighting. Bright golden bolts of lightning soon appeared in the box and shocked Eriger to the point he screamed in pain before the cube disappeared for him to fall to the ground with a thud. Naruto smiled. Sucks to be you, asshole. Before he could make a move to the unconscious dark mage, he collapsed to the ground screaming in pain. The magic was bursting through his pores now and he felt something appearing on both his legs and arms that were just making his whole body burn. His fever was going up to the point that he could barely move on his own while having to struggle to keep his eyes open and flowing naturally. Naruto. Looking up, he saw Natsu was standing over him, checking him over while Happy was looking at him with concern. Dude, are you alright? Naruto smiled while grimacing in pain. Sorta. Natsu, look, bind up Eriger first before worrying about me. Screw that, man, you are banged up bad, I can tell you are suffering from something, but I don't know what. Naruto laughed. A true friend, huh? Natsu smiled brightly. Of course, what else would we be? After all, you have to join Fairy Tail after this. I mean, we have done this mission together, so it should show you that we are always going to have your back no matter your past. Naruto frowned at this and looked at the sky. Friends for life. Would they really consider themselves that if they found out about my condition? Worse, my position in my old kingdom. While Naruto was having his internal debate, Natsu smelled something that he not smelled since Igneel, and that was the scent of a dragon. It was coming off Naruto, but it was barely there, meaning that it was a minor piece of himself. But the scent was different than most. It was something that Igneel had showed him once about dragons that were greater than himself. But why is the scent on him? Maybe I should ask. He took a closer look at Naruto and saw the faraway look in his face and knew from experience this was someone that didn't feel his past was something to bring up unless necessary. So he shook his head and smiled. Nah, he'll tell us in time, but for now I think I should help him out. Natsu. Looking behind him, he saw a stumbling Urza falling off the magical mobile from overusing her magic again and Lucy catching her. Gray came over and saw Erigor was out while Kageyama was frowning at the defeat of their leader. What happened, Natsu? Gray looked at Naruto and quickly rushed over to him. Man, what the hell, is he okay? I got here after Naruto defeated Erigor, and from what I can gather something is going on in Naruto's body. I don't know what, but he is running a really high fever at this point. Gray, now without his clothes on, summoned some ice into his hand and put it on Naruto's head, which helped bring down his temperature a bit. Man, we need to get him to a doctor soon or he might pass out or worse. Before they could load up in the car, Kageyama took off with the flute in one of his shadow hands, so the group agreed it was time to chase after him. But Gray carried Naruto on his back while producing a little bit of a cool chill, that way he could keep him cool and his body temperature down. Upon arriving in Clover, they saw their master was staring down Kageyama, who had his flute. Gramps. Master. SHHH. A man wearing a dress and overweight appeared out of nowhere with wings on his back, startling the group other than Urza. Gray had set Naruto on the ground while Bob immediately saw the boy and saw his condition, so he came over to him. My goodness, what happened to him? He put his hand on his head and casted a small green aura on Naruto. We don't know, Gray approached him. All we do know is that for some reason he is running a high fever and seems to be in great pain to the point that he can barely move on his own. No shock, my diagnosis says he is suffering from magical poisoning, which is odd for his age. Magical poisoning? Urza questioned the guildmaster of Blue Pegasus. Yes, from what I can tell he has some kind of foreign magic that is preventing him from moving around too much. Unfortunately I can't help him, but I can relieve the pain a bit. Casting a blue magical circle, Naruto felt the heat leave his body and soon he was able to look at everyone who were concerned about his health. Thank you very much. Oh, think nothing of it, handsome. Naruto smiled. Well, I feel I owe you a debt, so please don't hesitate asking for me if you need something from me. He smiled. Well, I might. The group turned to see Makarov talk the boy into submission and thus surrendering, but the problem that came right after this was the flute. It glowed brightly before turning into some giant wooden demon with 3 eyes, and soon everyone was freaking out. Naruto quickly asked. Voluminous, if I use your power now, will this help my current condition? Yes, but I would like to go on record saying that using my roar is going to cause large devastation and wipe out the rest of your reserves, probably leaving you out cold for a while. Fine with me. Naruto quickly scrambled to his feet before walking to the front of the group, facing down the monster in front of him. Naruto, get back here, you're not healthy enough to do something about this monster. Urza was terrified about their new friend throwing his life away. Well, he is still not feeling good. Yeah man, let us deal with this monster. Natsu was pouring fire into his hand, ready to rumble. Seriously man, your body can't handle the stress fighting this demon. Gray had his hands in place ready to make a shield for Naruto if he needed it. But before anyone else could say anything else, Naruto whispered. I'm not running anymore, I'm going to face this head on and take the chance in becoming the person that everyone thinks I can be. He saw flashbacks of his friends from his kingdom, the king that became his father, the general that became his uncle, the princess and other girls that became his love interests and friends to rely on, and the lone teen who made the promise to help him carry his burden, thus becoming his brother. Today is the first step in making my own path, the man that will become a legend among legends. Naruto looked at the beast directly with golden eyes with slits before a giant white magical circle appeared with a dragon's head and crown on the head, appearing in the center of it. His cheeks puffed up and Natsu knew what was coming, so he shouted. Gray, make an ice shield now. Without waiting he shouted. Ice make. Shield. Dragon God roar. A giant brilliant white beam of magic tore out of his mouth, engulfing Lullaby in its attack with it shouting in pain from the purity of the energy covering him. This can't be, you have to be him. The one that will. Shut the hell up and disappear. Soon he put more power into his roar and seconds the attack obliterated the demon, the conference hall, and the mountains in the background. Naruto felt the pain disappear over his body and his skin was turning to normal again, but before he could register what was going on around him, he was hit in the head by a metal fist. Idiot, what were you thinking? Are you so stupid you have a death wish, huh? While Makarov was upset with the public damage, he was shocked at the fear in Naruto's eyes from Urza. It was not the fear of being targeted by someone that was upset with him about his actions, but that of mortal fear of someone glaring down at him with pure hatred. When Urza did not hear a response from him quickly, he could hear him whispering and holding his head in fear. "I'm sorry Kushina, please don't hit me again, I'll be a good boy, I promise." Makarov realized that his fear was that of the worst kind. Abuse at the hands of a relative. Acting on instinct, he stood in front of Urza, stopping her punch with his hand. "Enough Urza, I will not allow this to continue." But master, not only did he fight in critical condition, but he also did that. She pointed to the lost of the conference hall and the mountains in the background. Well, he sighed at the lost of the building and several other landscapes, knowing the council was going to bitch at him about this, he glared at her. "So hitting him is the best course of action for this then?" Urza was gapped from the master standing up to her for punishing him for his reckless actions, until a golden-haired man wearing a dog collar and black shirt and pants walked into the conversation. "Honestly, if this is the price to pay for not losing anyone's life against the lullaby, then it is a price we are willing to bear." More importantly, most of the masters could have joined in the defense, but they didn't, and he did it on his own. "I agree with Goldmine," Bob joining in on the conversation, frowning at Urza. "Naruto, I think you said his name was, did something amazing, and while the reports are going to pain us, we can stand for this." But still, she saw the glare on Makarov's face. "You will not hit him again, is that clear?" Urza froze in fear of the master before nodding her head and walking back to the group with a look of shock on her face. "Whoa, Gramps really laying down the law on that one." Gray scoffed at Natsu's comment. "Yeah, but honestly I think it was time for someone to say something about this. I mean seriously, how much more time were we going to allow her to treat us like that?" Natsu nodded his head and sighed, knowing part of the reason laid on them as well. Well, he and Gray did fight all the time, the truth was that he did respect him in some way, and he knew he felt the same way. But they always wanted to spar as a chance to improve, but thanks to Urza, they never could spar whenever they wanted due to her getting involved when it happened. Master Makarov turned to Naruto and saw he was out cold from both the shock of using all of his magic and the fear he felt from Urza. Sighing, he turned into his Titan form and walked back to the guild with his group riding on his back. Pryusha. When she was bothered by Makarov about a new member being unconscious, she was about to throw him out for wasting her time, but when she sensed his aura, she knew who he was. She didn't want to believe it, but she could tell from his scent and the way his magic was flowing around that it was something else in this case. More so, did this mean the prophecy was coming to pass? She looked at the blonde youth. His body was riddled with scars, the most recent ones on his arms and legs. The skin looked like porcupines had a large orgy on them from how the skin was torn and ripped. Signs of abuse or large amounts of fighting, she thought as she saw his back having long laceration scars. Why now? Why is the great Illuminus coming back now of all times? Makarov saw his old friend grimacing about something, so he asked. "Is he alright?" "Alright, you mean his health, then yes, he is alright at this time. However, if we are talking about his condition in the terms of his magic, then no, he is not alright. It would seem that his body has not adapted to the secondary power that is flowing around his magical core, and thus he is experiencing it trying to forcefully shift inside of him at this time. But luckily what he did saved his life, otherwise the boy might have died from the suppression of his magical power." "I see, and do you know what is making the secondary energy then?" "Yes, but due to certain restrictions with my past I can't tell you." "Does it have to do with dragons then?" "Yes. That is all I can say about the matter, as ancient laws prevent me from saying more than that." Makarov knew that if this the case, then he would have to drop the subject matter. From the things she told him about dragon ancient laws, there were restrictions on what she could say or do in terms of with mortals, and thus the rules were not allow her to defy them. Breaking one of them had serious consequences in the terms that it could destroy her or force her to fade from the world if it important enough. Not wanting to see his dear friend disappear, or worse, he dropped it, but asked a different question. "What about the magic? Should this be a constant problem?" "I would think not, especially when I do this." She snatched his collar away and threw it to the ground, shattering it, shocking the elderly master. "The boy should not wear this because doing this any longer could have detrimental damage to his body if he continues on this path." "I see, so. Tell the foolish child he needs to start training this other power, and if you have to ask him about his home. I have a feeling his power has strong ties there, and that if the ritual that I think was done on him was done, then it is something to fear. Especially with the enemies that are lying in the shadow and the dangers he could bring to the world." "How dangerous? Does it matter?" "No, it doesn't matter to me, but I would like to know what we might be needing to be ready for." She frowned. "Or with another country." Chapter end. Chapter 4. Moving forward and fear the elves. Naruto awoke from his sleep and noticed that his body was feeling slightly less erratic than before. "I see you are awake, brat. Turning his head, he saw an old woman with pink hair and red eyes looking at him with a stern look on her face. Yeah, how long was I out? She frowned. About a week. Naruto sighed. Figured that'd be the case, last time it was about the same. She frowned deeper. Last time? Naruto turned his head away from her. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. She looked at the teen for a minute before sighing. Fine, but fair warning for the future, don't do this to yourself. She held something in her hand and his eyes widened to see the broken choker that was around his neck. This was causing more harm to your body than help, a few more years with it around your neck and it could have killed you. I wore it because it was supposed to keep my magic. You mean Lord Halluminus's magic? Naruto's eyes widened. How did you? She smiled slightly. Don't think I don't know my own dragon god, kid. Naruto looked at her and then he smelled her scent. Grandini, that sky dragon from years ago. Your name is Grandini, isn't it? She sighed and bowed to him. Yes, I'm the sky dragon Grandini from Idolas, so I'm really not from this world. But my other version does exist in this world. Naruto smiled. Well, it is nice to meet someone that is a dragon at least. I thought I meet one other than my friend. She smiled. Friend, huh? You don't seem to grasp how lucky and dangerous you are with him sealed into you. I do. Naruto looked out the window, he told me all about his history, his main job, and what is to become of me in the end with his power sealed into me. She nodded her head. Then I don't have to tell you that you need to start training on the dragon power that flows in your veins, right? He nodded his head and she smiled slightly. Good, take care of yourself, child. After all, it would be bad for my old friend's Chosen be killed for stupid reasons. Naruto got out of bed and started to get dressed, but she noticed his back and her eyes widened that she dropped the glass she was holding. Her hand shot to her mouth. She was healing his magical injury. She never saw this. His back was littered with scars from what looks like a very sharp whip or from some glass. Each one was layered one on another, and while his back had healed the damage, he still looked horrible. Child. Naruto turned to her and saw the horrified look in her eyes. You want to know who did this to my back? No. She nodded her head before putting his shirt over his back. My mother did this to me. This was her way to disciplining me whenever I did something she did not approve of or talked back to my superiors. He walked up to the door. Between you and me, I'm still scared to see her again, but in the end, I have to start moving forward from what she did to me. Upon leaving the treehouse, he proceeded deeper into the forest where he found an opening and started taking deep breaths. Alright, time to get started on this. Naruto gathered some dragon magic into his veins and felt himself glowing. Let's see how far I can go today. He rushed a tree in his golden aura and began his long training session. Urza. The red hair knight was wandering through the forest after coming back from a simple job. Ever since the lullaby incident, she had to take time to really think about things that she had done and how the guild perceives her. More after Master scolded her for hitting Naruto after erasing the lullaby on the spot and explaining that he was not going to allow this to happen anymore unless it is really necessary. She really started to evaluate herself and realized he was right. She was sometimes too harsh on people. Especially Gray and Natsu. While she did not like them arguing all the time, she can at least let them spar when they are outside the guild house. I guess I have some of my own growing up to do. Plus, I think the two are scared of me, scratch that, I know they are scared shitless of me. She had a light bulb go off. I'll make it up to them then, taking them on a S-class mission with me should help smooth things over for them. She nodded at her thought but then felt something explode in the distance. Fearing the worst, she dashed off to the explosion to make sure it was not someone in danger. Upon arriving at the clearing, she spotted Naruto standing there in the middle of a scorched crater surrounded by a gold aura and radiating something that was almost unbearable. The power that was coming off his body was so great that she was terrified of it. From this point, Naruto seemed to be a changed person with this new power, and she could swear that his body looked like they might have some scales coming in beneath the shirt and his neck. But she stepped on a branch and broke his concentration. Urza. Naruto was shocked. He didn't think anyone would come all the way out here to see him. Or bother him for this point, he needed the privacy to train. Hey Naruto, I see you're training. He smiled slightly while still trying to suppress the nervous feeling. Yeah, I realized recently that I need to work on my real magic more or I will become a hindrance and danger to my guild. I mean, I had to do it eventually, but now I'm more certain of it, you know. She smiled at this and nodded her head while crossing her arms across her chest. Yes, we were really worried. The guild was shocked to hear about your condition. Honestly, I was worried as well, and I should be saying this now. She bowed her head to him. I'm sorry for hitting you that day, it was not appropriate and the master scolded me for it. It's fine really, I'm fine, but honestly that is not the real reason I panicked after the attack. She frowned. I noticed that ever since we met you seem very apprehensive around me. Is there a reason for it? Naruto gulped. Should I tell her? Halluminus snorted. Tell her the reason but not the whole story. Go ahead kid, you need someone to talk about this to. Well, the truth is Urza that you remind me of someone. She raised an eyebrow at him. You see, you look very similar to my mother and that terrifies me, I guess, to where I'm uncomfortable being around you. She frowned. Why, was your mother mean or something? Naruto sighed before turning away from her and removed his shirt. What she saw on his back horrified her and made her gasp. She saw the scars that were littering his back and the markings that looked like words etched into them as well. Naruto, your mother did this too? He nodded his head. My mother always talked about how I was a mistake, how she wished she smothered me as a child, and many other things. Whenever I did even the smallest thing wrong or talked back, she would hit me in the back with a whip and punish me for it. He then motioned to the words in his back, these were to remind me I was nothing to her or the rest of my family. Urza cried, how couldn't she? She found out that Naruto was terrified of her as she was similar to his mother, or at least in looks. If she ever met this woman, she would personally bash her face in and scar her the same way she did it to Naruto. While he did destroy the conference hall and she was upset he put himself in reckless danger, she saw one thing in his heart. Something that stood out more than anything else to her and made him family to the rest of the guild. The heart to care for others above himself, even if that means he has to do the hardest things in his heart or put himself in danger. Naruto put his shirt on and saw Urza rush him and hug him tightly. Her armor disappeared and she was wearing a button-up shirt and blue skirt. Naruto, I'm sorry, I wish I knew sooner, than I would have tried sooner to change my ways. Again. I've been thinking things over and I realized that I've been especially harsh on the guild at times and more on people to the point they don't respect me but fear me for my personality and my harsh treatment. She looked at him, crying out of one eye, so I want to change that about the guild and try to be a better person as a whole. Naruto smiled and suppressing a shiver he hugs her back. I know we both are trying to make changes for the better. So how about this then? He pulled away from her and pointed at her, I'll help you try to be kinder and more receptive to the guild members and their actions and call you out when I think things are going too far. He then pointed to himself, you and I can work on my problems of being more open and training this power, how about it? Urza smiled and hugged him tightly before pulling away. Yep, now let's get started. She grabbed his hand and the two of them walked to the guild, leaving the destroyed field to repair itself thanks to his light magic already being casted prior. They both walked to the guild with Urza holding his hand and him trying to suppress the feeling of anxiety welling up in his chest and stomach. Luminous is trying to talk him through this, but the panic was setting in faster than he could calm himself and he was worried it was going to be getting out of control. Within a few minutes they arrived at the guild where they saw a somber look among the guildmates. But one person shouted. Urza is touching someone. Everyone turned and saw that she was holding Naruto's hand and this caused the guild to gasp at the sight of this, while Kana laughed. Looks like little Naruto is getting pretty close to the fairy queen, huh? Naruto blushed at this and realized how it looked while Urza sighed. I'm helping him out with something. Please do not misread the situation. Oh, my Urza, you are sure that is all you are doing? Murahin had a smile on her face and was giggling at the look on her face. Urza's eyes twitched but she took a deep breath trying to keep calm. This to work on the promise she made not to lash out at others or be as demanding. Where is the master, Murahin? She pointed over to the bar and saw him with a somber look. Walking up to him he saw the two of them holding hands and smiled. He had a feeling the child had a deep fear of someone that looked like Urza, given that he was hit once by her and muttered a name. From there, he knew the child was terrified of this person and probably tortured by them, but to see Urza making an effort to help him overcome this problem is an amazing sight. Plus, he was expecting her to lash out when someone mentioned them together and holding hands, but she seems calmer. Seems Naruto is helping her to think more than rush forward at times. Plus, this should help bring them both out of their shells more. Urza, I'm glad you're back today. Master, what's wrong? He frowned. We have a serious problem in the form of Natsu. He, Happy, and Lucy stole an S-class mission and are now en route to it. Urza's eyes turned demonic. What? The guild cowered away from her, feeling the intense aura and bloodlust she was releasing. Damn, she's scary. Romeo was hiding behind his father in fear of the red-hair woman. Mikao could only cough. Yes, she is, son, don't piss her off, got it? He nodded his head while Wakaba was hiding underneath the table trying to avoid her gaze. At this same time, the others were backing away from her. Murahin was worried she was going to go over the top with her bloodlust, considering she was cracking the floor with her pressure. Urza calmed down, looking at Naruto she saw a calm look on his face. Why should I? Naruto pointed to the guild, but more importantly Romeo, and saw that he was cowering away from her and was almost crying from the pressure. She took a deep breath and reined in her power, shocking the rest of the guild. Did the new guy just get Urza to calm down? That kid is something else, right, Wakaba? Definitely Mikao. He's a real man. Murahin sighed, her brother really was confusing at times, but this was just embarrassing. Sorry everyone, I'll try not to let that happen again. Urza bowed while releasing Naruto's hand and thus shocking the guild more. Urza promising to not do something like that again. What the hell happened in the few hours since they saw her to change so much? It was creepier than when she is usually really pissed at points. Master, Makarov looked at her, do you wish me to go after them? Makarov nodded his head. Originally I sent Gray after the three of them, but sadly it seems that he might have been dragged along with them. Naruto raised an eyebrow. How long has it been since they took off and Gray went after them? I would say almost a day at this time. Naruto sighed, that was more than enough time to find someone and drag them back to the guild. Meaning that Gray definitely went along with the mission or got knocked out by a surprise attack and they took him with them and now he is forced to complete the mission with them. What job was it, master? The cursed island Galuna. Naruto raised an eyebrow at this. He heard about that while he was entering the country from some of the people on the ship. They talked about how the island was so dangerous that normal people have to stick clear of the place in fear of demons coming after them or turning into demons themselves. Crap in his mind, but he knew something was going on that island and the mission request was definitely outside the peril of most lower class mages. You want the two of us to go and get them? Makarov nodded his head. Yes, Naruto, while you might not officially belong to our guild, you are a member of Fairy Tail and thus family. Naruto smiled. Then how about we fix that real quick? Makarov smiled and brought out the stamp. Where and what color? Naruto thought it over for a bit but decided he wear it over his heart. So, removing his shirt, the guild saw his back and was horrified at what they saw, just like Urza, who frowned in acknowledging this too. More in the sense, she saw Murahin cover her mouth in shock and was crying at the sight of something so ugly on someone so nice. Mikao crushed his drink in his hand, seeing the ugly marking on his back and seeing some of the words while covering his son's eyes. Gold would be preferred. He felt the stamp land on his chest and a new mark appeared on his chest in gold over his heart. Naruto wondered what happened to his temporary one, but from what he could gather, he must have lost it when after releasing Halim's power, it dispersed it due to it not being able to handle his power. Since it was not meant to last for long period, it was thus erased in an instant. But this would be with him forever, just like the memory and love of his friends. Putting his shirt on. So, mission for the two of us and to find those troublemakers and bring them back. Makarov nodded his head, ignoring the horrified look of the guild at the injuries their newest family member had. He had seen them while he was sleeping and he too was horrified of them. Yes, bring them all back if you can and try not to hurt them too bad, okay? Also consider this your S-class evaluation, Naruto. He gave this look to Urza, who nodded her head. While she would beat them up for doing this, she was not going to go overboard or use her sword to do so. Let's go, Naruto. Sure then, senpai. She smiled at this and laughed a little at the title he gave her. Urza will do. Naruto laughed. Sure thing, Urza. Upon both of them leaving the guild hall, the guild demanded answers about the scars on Naruto and Makarov told them what he could about them, knowing that this was more Naruto's story than his. But he swore one thing for sure. Now that he has joined their guild, he is child and he would make sure that the people that did this would pay dearly for it. Time skip. Arriving at Harjan port, Urza and Naruto were looking for a boat to get them to Galuna Island. But all the sailors were terrified about going to the island and told them no way and wanting to avoid the curse. Naruto at some point just gave up and decided to look for something along the lines of food and potions for healing. He told her while they are on the island, they might encounter dangerous enemies or their friends might be injured, so it is better to be stocked and ready. She agreed and she told him not to push himself too far when it came to fighting and he promised to try. After gathering the supplies and putting them away in his own personal rune that he stored on his left shoulder, he saw Urza running up to him. Naruto, good news, I finally got us a boat. Naruto smiled. Great, where is the boat? She pointed to one at the end of the docks. The people on the boat told me they are willing to go to the island and there are 2 people on board who are willing to help us out as well. Naruto raised an eyebrow at this. Who would be willing to go to some cursed island like them without a hint of fear? They either were not from around here or they were biases in some way. Either way, they got a boat and that was all that mattered at this point. Upon turning the corner and seeing the ship, he paled considerably. Naruto, what's wrong? She saw him go white as paper and stop moving. She looked at the ship and wondered if there was something wrong with it. Do you know the ship? No, but I know that flag it is flying, it is the flag of my home country. For sure it was his home country's main flag. It was a flag of multiple dragon heads spreading out from the center with different colors. At the same time, the dragons all came from one big dragon head in the center that was white and gold. This was his home country's ship, meaning that the people on board might know who he. Naruto, it has been a while. Naruto froze, recognizing the manly voice that spoke to him. Turning ever so slowly, he became even more nervous seeing the man that was standing there looking at him with a cold expression on his face. He had short blonde hair with it forming a bit of a tip at the front with two small strands down the side of his head. He has long pointy ears, dark green eyes, pale complexion, and wearing blue and purple robe outfit with a white shirt underneath it that was long-sleeved with purple sleeves. It was covering a pair of black long pants underneath his clothes and covering his legs. At his side he had a golden black and blue battle axe that was the size of his own body and he was carrying it on his back. Lesty, it has been a long time. He frowned. Indeed, quite a few years since we last saw you. Last I heard after you left you were in Alvarez for a while until moving to another country when our spies found you. Naruto, sweating from the pressure of this man, quickly bowed to him. I'm sorry I left, but you have to understand I didn't want the worst to happen to the country, we can't afford it. Lesty stared at him before sighing. I understand that, and honestly if you had stayed, I would have understood as well, but I'm not the one you have to convince right now. Who are you? Naruto flinched, feeling a divine aura behind and panicked seeing a blonde female elf. She had long blonde hair and wearing a white and blue dress outfit with her hair tied up in a ponytail with a butterfly hairpiece. On top of that, she had on sandal platform shoes and her outfit had long blue and white sleeve things that were separate from the dress that showed off her breasts. Which by the way for Naruto were impressive and could give anyone in Fairy Tail a run for their money. But he was focusing on the woman that was pissed at him, with her divine aura flaring at him with light magic coming out of her hand. My lord, you left me behind and now I've found you. Hey Kirika, I can. Now take your punishment like a man. With her hand pointed at him she said, Fairy Cannon. Soon a giant beam of light flew at Naruto, but he redirected it into the sky, but quickly dodged a light arrow aimed at his head and started running. Kirika-chan, please forgive me. Sorry my lord, you must be punished. So take it like a man, Naruto-sama. Lesty sighed. Forgive my sister, bowing to Urza, she has missed him terribly. Urza frowned. Should we stop them? An explosion shook the town after a light arrow nearly hit Naruto but landed on the ground, giving him the boost to soar through the sky, but Kirika was on his tail. No, we have to wait now, T. Lovely, do you have cake? While the two went into the ship, Naruto shouted. Somebody stops this crazy elf. Chapter end. Chapter 5. Baluna Island. Fear thy elf. On the boat things were eerily quiet. For good reasons too, as Leston was sitting there with a bored expression on his face while having his axe at his side. Next to him was his sister, who was smiling happily and having her right arm firmly wrapped around a paling Naruto. Who had cuts and bruises on his body along with a swollen cheek and lump on his head. Steam was coming off his body for the constant barrage of light attacks that hit him. In front of them was Urza, who was wondering if she should ask or not. You have questions? Looking up she saw Leston was looking at her with a stern face. But it turns into a small smile, feel free to ask them, but do know that some things we can't talk about due to laws preventing us. Of course, I was just wondering, are you guys really elves? Leston saw the nervousness in her eyes get bigger. Yes we are, and don't worry, you're not the first to ask. Kirika laughed. Yes, in fact Naruto mistaken me for a goddess instead and I was absolutely swooning. She put her hand on her cheek and sighed at the memory. They were so young then, but she felt on cloud 9 when she heard him ask that question. I see, so, are your kind common in Naruto's home country? Yes, quite, there are different elven races as there are humans, so it should not surprise you. At the same time you should know that we elves have a high affinity for magic that can sometimes baffle humans. He held his hand out and soon ice appeared in it before lighting surrounded the ice crystal and then entered it. My elements that I specialize in are ice and lighting magic, but that also helps that I'm a Dragoneer. My element used to be wind, but I had traded it to study and learn light magic, while at the same time learning support healing spells of the highest quality. She looked at Naruto, I too am a Dragoneer. Dragoneer? Lesty and Kirika shot each other quick looks and Naruto frowned. In simple terms, I guess you could say we are people that can calm dragons with our voices and even slay them if they are using the elements we practiced in. Most Dragoneers are humans who specialize in one element, but due to our elven lineages, we specialize in specific elements or multiple elements. Kirika smiled. Yes, as for example anyone was to use ice or lighting against Nai-san would not be able to win due to him being able to absorb the element and control it to the point of just staring and thinking about it. He smiled. While true, that does not mean I'm unbeatable in those element fights, as attacks I don't see coming are hard to block or change. I see, so if there is a sneak attack or someone is using the element at a range you can't meet, then you can get hurt, right? Yes. Naruto sighed before saying. I'm going up on the deck to see how much further to the island. He walked up to the top floor, leaving the three alone. Kirika sighed. He is still reluctant. Leston patted his sister on the back. You have to remember what he went through. He left to protect all of us. She growled. Maybe so, but that does not excuse him just abandoning all of us. I mean, he could have taken me at least with him. Leston sighed. Nisan, you know that would not be possible. If you went with him people would be able to track you, meaning you would be in danger as well. Plus with what we learned there is no telling what the family would do to keep us quiet. Urza felt out of place but decided to ask. If you don't mind, is this family that this woman Kushina is from the one looking for him? Kirika was shocked to hear this from her mouth along with Leston. How do you? Urza cut off the female elf. Naruto showed me his back and the scars that were left behind. Honestly, we are helping each other with me trying to get him more comfortable around me. Leston stared at the girl for a second and so did Kirika. I see. Kirika looked out the window ignoring the girl while Leston bowed his head to her. Sorry, my sister cares deeply for Naruto, so it is kind of hard for her to deal with someone else helping him other than herself. You are doing a great job given that he is comfortable enough to be in your presence without freaking out. Urza smiled. Well, I held his hand and stuff so it should be helping hopefully. Urza saw Kirika gripping her seat, but he is also helping me be less strict and more receptive to other people's ideas and comments without going over the top. I see. The ship went quiet for a while with Leston looking at the stairs leading to the upper deck and seeing if Naruto was coming back yet. But seeing he was not, he looked at his sister who sighed and they turned to Urza. Urza, you know Kushina, which means you know that she is his mother, correct? Yes, but what does that? Kirika held her hand stopping her from talking. You should know that is not true though. Huh? Urza was confused now, Kushina was not his mother. You see, while Naruto was gone from the country we uncovered some hidden documents about Naruto's birth hidden by the family. It turns out that he is the son of a Uzumaki priestess named Kalia Uzumaki and she was heralded as the next head of the family. From what I can gather she did not want the position so she left the home but came home with a child in her womb. But died giving birth to him and thus he was left in the care of his family. At least that is how it looks, but the reality was she wanted his godfather to take him in, but that part was ignored and he was lied and tortured for this. But that does not make sense, why be cruel to him? Leston sighed. Honestly, we don't know the fully story, but there is something about a prophecy foretelling of a powerful child from the clan. At first it was believed to be their children, so they die not think much of Naruto or his lineage, but after the dragon ride and learning of his mother having connections to one of the oldest dragons in existence and considered the god of their race, well, I guess they could not stand him being superior to them. Dragon's right. It is a long story and something we can't tell you. But please know we are going to tell Naruto his mother after this job is over and we settle into Magnolia as it is needed. We need him to know he was born into this world by the love of his mother and was meant to be in his godfather's care. Who is his godfather? Kirika smiled. Why, it is. Hey, we're here. Everyone below the deck gathered their things and head up top to see Naruto already healed up from his comical bruising and standing there with Dragon's Bane in a katana form. The captain looked. If it is alright with all of you, I will pull the ship away and be back in 3 days. Does this work for you? Kirika looked at him with a smile and the image of the kanji death floating behind her. You'll stay here, won't you? I mean, I would hate to have to go through the trouble of piloting this ship while you swim back to the coast. No. The man shivered. Scary. Naruto's sweat dropped. Idiot. Why yes, ma'am. Soon the four took off onto the island while Naruto spread his senses all over the place. Reaching the forest line, Naruto said. I sensed 2 energies near our location on the far beach, a large group of signatures to the far north, most likely a village or something, and some at that temple on the hill and one in the forest. Urza sighed. My guess is that everyone got split up. Can you tell who is who, Naruto? He frowned. No, I can only tell where everyone is, but I can tell the ones on the beach are fighting, given the amount of magic that is being released at this time. Urza frowned. That is not good, we should head that way first. Naruto turned to Kirika and Leston. Can you two go to the north and see if that is a village and if you can help them? Leston nodded his head and so did Kirika, but you could see it was forced. Be careful, Naruto, and don't overexert yourself. Naruto snorted. I'm stronger than you last saw me, but thanks. Soon the 2 elves took off in a dash while Naruto and Urza proceeded along the beach and soon saw 2 girls fighting on the beach line. One was a pink-haired girl wearing some kind dark dress and skirt, standing on a stone golem of some kind. The other was Lucy, who had summoned Aquarius again, and a huge tsunami of water came at both of them, taking them both along for the ride and destroying the golem. In the time of the spirit disappearing, the 2 started fist fighting until Lucy shouted. Don't mess with Fairy Tail. Naruto smiled seeing her knock out the girl while Urza sighed. She is reckless like the others. Naruto laughed. Maybe, but you got to admit, for someone that is here new still like myself, she has come a far way now. Urza smiled. True, but she is still getting punished. Naruto laughed. No doubt, but let's try not to scare the poor thing too bad. Urza nodded her head. Given that she was sure Lucy was dragged onto this mission for the promise of some kind of special item, she would not be angry at her. More, she was angry at Natsu for stealing the mission in the first place, Gray for not returning with the group in question, and for Happy taking the mission in the first place. While Lucy went along with this and did commit a crime in the guild, she was most likely going to be let off with a minor fee and some minor punishment, such as working for the guild for free for a week. Avenge me, Angelica. Urza and Naruto saw a giant rat appear out of the tree lines, and Lucy, not being able to move, was about to be crushed. Urza rushed forward and cut the rat down, while Naruto quickly appeared at her side. Nad carried her away. "Naruto, you're here." Naruto smiled. "Yes, surprised." She smiled and hugged him tightly. "I was so worried after you passed out, and seeing you in that condition, I couldn't help but worry about your health." Naruto pat her back. "Don't worry about it, I'm feeling much better now and starting to make plans of moving forward." She smiled but paled seeing the red-hair knight approaching her with sword still out. "Urza." The girl in question motioned Naruto to put her down, and soon the swords disappeared while Urza hugged the blonde. Lucy in shock but could feel the knight shaking. "You idiot, how could you do something so reckless? S-class requests are dangerous for a reason, as most can kill people on their own, even I think twice before doing them." Lucy looked as Urza was frowning at her, and she could not help but feel guilty. She should not have been sucked into this mission in the first place, and she knew it. "I'm sorry, Urza, please let me explain why I went along, and I promise I'll take whatever punishment." It all started when Natsu came to her apartment with an S-class job and told her they are going big time. She at first was against this, knowing there had to some kind of rule against this, and did not want to be part of it, even if there is a large reward to them. But when she had the poster and saw the Golden Gate key, she immediately agreed to go on the mission. She should have not done it and realized that the reason Urza was made was she was worried about their safety. "I see." Urza sighed. She figured Natsu and Happy were behind this mess. She smiled. "I'm glad you're okay, and lucky for you this mission is serving as Naruto's test for S-class." "Really?" She looked at the blonde boy and he smiled while giving a peace sign. "Yep, turns out after officially joining the guild that means I can become an S-class mage due to the power I showed against Lullaby." "I see." She frowned. "Urza, please listen, I'm sorry about this mess and promise to come quietly." Urza smiled and hugged her closely. "Just promise me you won't do this again. We'll call it even for me, okay?" Lucy nodded her head. "Lucy, are you the—" Happy saw Urza standing there and tried to fly away, but was quickly caught by Naruto, who flashed up to him and brought him to the ground. After explaining what they know about the island and the things going on at this time, and what was causing the moonshine, Urza and Naruto knew they had to do something soon. Lullaby was a demon, and one that was powerful, that it required someone to seal it in ice, thus this did not bode well for the island. So after getting the two in care, they head back to the main village where they met the human-turned demons and started healing their members, or in the case of Naruto, healing Gray to be yelled at. Hours passed and they strategized how they were going to take the temple with Leston, insisting that he take this cold emperor and show him the true power of ice magic. They agreed while Naruto talked about looking at this demon and its seal, hoping to find a way to make it sure it stays sealed entirely. While this is going on, Gray woke up and walked into the tent. Sitting there, Urza had a glare on her face. "You made me wait, not a good thing, Gray." Lucy and Happy were cowering behind Naruto and he smiled. "Good to see you're okay, Naruto and Urza." The girl frown deepened. "Gray, do you know how much trouble you guys are in now?" "Yes, I do, but I can't leave, as you know." "We know, Lucy told us everything." "Well, normally I would not stand for this mess. Naruto is using this mission as his evaluation test right now. So we are going to complete this mission and then we are going to head home, got it?" Gray nodded his head. Happy she was willing to help these innocent people, but she walked up to him and removing a glove on her right hand slapped him. His face turned to the side in shock of the slap. Normally it was a punch, but this hurt more than anything else. "You idiot." She hugged him and looked at him in the eyes with sadness in them. "I was so worried about you four when this got back to me. Do you guys not understand how dangerous these missions are? I mean, I was planning on taking you and Natsu with me on an S-class job to say sorry for being so harsh on you two for all these years and get you ready for them in the future when you both become S-class." "Really?" "Yes, but now you're going to receive punishment for failing to do your job, Gray. Now we have strategized how to attack the temple and ready to make our move." Gray nodded his head and soon the group moved out of the tent and head up to the temple. On the way there, Gray talked about how his master sealed the demon Delioria in the ice shell in the hopes of freeing him from his darkness. From this point he tells more about his life with her and how his bad habits started from her teachings and this led to him seeing her as his mother. But after she sealed herself, Lion, his fellow pupil, hated him for this and blamed her death on him. He went to Fairy Tail hoping to find someone that could help him, but Makarov told him the truth about the ice shell and unsealing the demon would be the same as killing his teacher. He goes into detail about the spell and Naruto frowned. "Is it possible that this spell could be containing her life force in the ice?" It is likely, brat. I heard of this spell as many humans created it over the ages. But to hear that it is melting meaning that it might actually kill their teacher at this rate. So if we hurry, can we save her then? Yes, but at the same time I will have to pitch in the spell that this requires more magic than you're capable of controlling or summoning period. Okay, Naruto looked at the group. Hey guys, there is something I want to check out about the ice shell, so I'm going to head on in and find the demon. Okay. Gray frowned. What are you going to do? Naruto smiled at him. Trust me Gray, if it goes the way I know it will, then you're going to thank me for this. He then took off, leaving them calling for him to call back while Kirika sighed. Always the hero, no Naruto-sama. Leston laughed. It would not be him if that was not the case. Head after him sister, I'll go with Gray. She nodded her head and chased after Naruto, while Gray and the rest of them were surrounded by the followers of the Cold Emperor. Urza told the two of them to while Happy, herself, and Lucy held these people off. Upon entering the temple, Gray and Leston see Natsu fighting Lion, who is unmasked and standing there with a dark glare on his face. Gray, I see you've come back, and this time with a weak ally. Leston snorted. Kid, you're too young to start talking shit to me. With a flick of his hand, ice shot from the floor and sent him flying across the room. This move shocked Gray, as he never saw ice mastery of this level before, while Natsu saw how strong this guy was. You bastard, how dare you do this to the Cold Emperor? Gray frowned. Lion, you would go this far? To prove you surpassed her, sensei? Why free the thing that she fought to seal? Why kill her to do this? Lion frowned. By killing you mean that chunk of ice, then save it. I know all about the ice shell, our teacher is long gone, and that is all it is, a giant chunk of ice. Gray's eyes widened. You knew. You still did this knowing it. He smiled. What of it? Natsu saw the anger in Gray's eyes and saw the masked freak doing something in the corner. Before he could figure it out, the whole temple retilted itself right side up and thus allowing moon drip to fall on the ice. Bastard. How did you do that? The man looked at the fire dragon and laughed before running off. Natsu chased after him, demanding answers, while Leston sighed. Quite the meathead, that one. Yeah, he is always like that. Leston smiled. Reminds me of someone I know, fire user that acts the same way as him. Gray smiled but saw Lion aim one of his hands out and fire an ice dragon at them. But the minute the attack approached, Listen swung his axe at the attack. This shattered it completely, shocking the two of them with the lack of effort he was showing in this fight. Is that really the best you got, so-called Cold Emperor? Lion growled and threw his cloak to the side before summoning more ice magic. You will not stop me from reaching my ambition. Gray growled. I won't lose to you, Lion. Leston frowned. Come and get me, boy. Soon the three ice wizards began their battle of the strongest ice wizard. Down in the caverns, Naruto was looking at the ice shell and saw the life force flowing around the demon. There is enough for me to do this. Indeed, but please remember this is going to hurt a lot and drain you badly. Got it, Harlem. Naruto waved his hands in front of him and closed his eyes. With them crossed over each other, he then opened them, revealing his golden eyes, before a golden circle with a dragon and a crown on the dragon appearing above him. Forbidden art. Life reconstruction. The ice started to glow, the ice started to disappear slowly, but in its place was the form of golden energy forming the shape of an adult woman. She was slowly coming into a clearer image, with it having short black hair, a red top that hugged her impressive breasts, some shorts, and a brown jacket. The woman had pale skin and her eyes were closed. Before long the woman fell onto the floor and Naruto fell to the ground in exhaustion, using both his own magic and the magic of Harlem, which put his body into overdrive. It is similar to using too much muscle movement, leaving him almost immobile at this point. Naruto-sama, are you alright? Naruto smiled at Kirika. Yeah, but help her first. I'll get back to my feet soon. Kirika nodded her head and walked up to the woman, picking her up and helping her over to him. Naruto smiled. Your students missed you, A demon roar raged in the cave, with Naruto seeing the demon standing there glaring at them. Getting to his feet, he glared down the monster and motioned for Kirika to take the woman out of here. From there he motioned to the demon with one of his hands. Let's go, you half-baked demon. Roar. Chapter end. Chapter 6. The Luna's conclusion. Naruto stared down the demon daily aura and is not surprised to feel its fading life force. More so, that the creature itself was becoming weaker as the minutes passed by. Looks like Ice Shell did more damage than expected on the demon. Indeed, I would guess one powerful strike from a light spell and it will die. Yep, sounds about right. Naruto held his hand out in front of his face and shouted. Holy light. Shining javelin. The bolt of light in the form of a javelin fired out of the magical circle and pierced the demon's head, making it scream in pain. Soon the monster started to crumble from the years of deterioration and then having its life force drained. Naruto sighed, rubbing the back of his head. Sometimes I wonder what kind of person this Seraph was to make monsters like that harmless. I mean, was he as evil as people said he was, or was there something else going on at his time? Hard to say honestly, the dragon hummed, all I know is about what humans have told me over the ages. Personally, I couldn't go looking for such a wizard given what was going on at the time. Plus I was dealing with that young upstart Aknologia and showing him his place from time to time. Yeah, I figured that Naruto sat on the ground and looked up at the ceiling, slowly feeling his magic returning to normal from what he did, but knowing he was done for the rest of the day. I just wish there was some way to find out more about him without people thinking you're going dark, you know. Seriously, what happened in his life that made him go down the path he did? For a human, it is hard to say, my boy. There could be millions of reasons and some reasons that would mix together and create the reason. In short, there is no telling. Naruto smiled and laughed, I should know that by now, shouldn't I? He smiled and felt tears forming in his eyes, isn't that right, my old friend? Two paths born of the same pain, but yet we took different routes in dealing with that pain. I wonder, would I have turned into you and you into me if we had made different choices? Romulus remained silent. What could he say? The destiny that awaited him was a horrible one and one he never wanted on a child, let alone someone he saw as his hatchling. He damned the gods for their mistakes, he damned himself for not fixing his mistakes, and he damned his mother for not doing what needed to prevent this. But he knew nothing would change anything, this was going to happen because they knew what was to come. He only wished that he was the one that suffered and not this child and his dear friend. Now's not the time to think about it, Naruto. I think we should rest here until someone either comes and gets you or you can start moving on your own again. Through that last attack Kinda left my body shot and the spell earlier didn't help. Naruto looked up at the moon and smiled, wondering what his old friend was doing now and how strong he had become after all these years apart. Maybe, just maybe, they could still be friends even now. The dreams of a child that lost everything important to gain everything else, that was his true tragedy. Inside the cold Emperor's throne room. Lion was panting hard, he couldn't believe it. Gray was giving him a hard enough time, but this other man. He was pushing him further than Gray could, and it seemed nothing he did fazed him. He just waved off his ice attacks, stopped him with quick strikes to his body, forced him to block his axe, and even had to stop his lightning strikes. It was overwhelming and it infuriated him. I'm the cold Emperor. Today is the day I surpass her and make my dream a reality. He held out one hand. Ice make. Snow eagles. Leston, seeing them coming, quickly held out his hand, and as soon as the attack came into range they shattered. How many times do we need to go through this, child? You can't win, just give up. Never. Not until my dream is realized. Your dream is going to cost you your teacher if you continue on this path. Leston glared, do you not understand the full grasp of the ice shell, or did you just read the notes of how it works and what it does to the caster? It doesn't matter. It is nothing more than a hunk of ice. He fired off more attacks, but this time in the form of spikes, but Leston just kept his hand up, letting them shatter. The ice shell is not just a spell that does all you know, but it is still containing fragments of your teacher's soul. If you give it time you could revive her and bring her back into this world. Lion shook his head. You're lying. Just like Gray, you are suckered into believing that hunk of ice is anything but that. Just some stupid ice. He roared, and soon a massive wave of ice approached the two of them, and Leston finally lost his patience. Taking his axe he quickly slashed it down until the blade touched the ground. The ice itself cut in half, leaving a clear path to Lion, who was shocked by this outcome. Leston appeared in front of him and slammed his free hand into his stomach, sending him flying into the wall. Lion coughed up blood and soon left the realm of the conscious. A man who would be willing to sacrifice innocent people and kill his teacher can never surpass his master. You're lucky I make it a point not to kill, or I would have taken your head for such an insult. He turned to Gray, you are also to blame for this mess. Gray was shocked. What the hell do you mean? He shook his head. You tried to reason with someone that couldn't be reached. Next time, instead of trying to keep a promise to a teacher about a secret, instead bring down the person that is planning to destroy the very person you love. Gray frowned and clenched his fist. I know, I should have beaten him earlier, but sadly that was not the case. But now, he started crying, all I can feel is shame that I failed her. She would never have approved of what happened and be ashamed that I let that demon escape. Leston looked at the teen and then saw two people appear behind them and smiled. Then you should ask her yourself. Huh? Gray. Gray froze, he couldn't believe it. He dared not believe that voice was who he thought it was. Turning his head slowly he looked, seeing a blonde hair elf from earlier holding up a woman. Her face, the scar, and the look in her eyes, he couldn't believe it. You were? She smiled and wobbled up to him. Why, look at you, you got so handsome. Gray cried, he cried harder than he ever did before. How are you? You should ask your friend downstairs. He managed to free me and then omph. She felt the teen collide and hug her close. He was hugging so tightly she smiled, holding him around his head and kissing his forehead. It's alright Gray, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. You're real. Master, please forgive me for being so stupid back then. Please forgive me for not listening to you. Forgive me for making you throw your life away for someone that was unworthy. Er's heart tore. Her student really missed her, and to be honest, she always regretted not being there for her student more. He was her son and she failed him in the worst way. Gray. Looking up, she smiled with tears in her eyes. I never regretted what I did. Just so you know, I'm glad you lived like I hoped you would, living for me and finding your peace. Know that no matter what, you'll always be my little tear, my precious student, and my son. Gray's eyes broke into bigger tears, and he quickly cried into her chest with her hugging him closer, whispering soothing words in his ear. Leston smiled and Kirika sniffled a bit before wiping her eyes. Is Naruto okay? She smiled. Yes, no doubt he killed the demon by now. Gray's eyes shot open, hearing this information. Wait, Naruto did this? Her laughed. So that was the man's name. I have to thank him for everything. Turning her head to Leston, she frowned, seeing her other student lying there unconscious. Lion. Gray glared at him. Don't he should see you himself and then explain himself. As far as I'm concerned, the lion I knew died a long time ago. Gray hugged his teacher before walking away. I have to go check on Natsu, knowing that idiot he probably is going to bring the temple down if he is not careful. Laughed. Good to hear you made such a good friend. The hell, that idiot is my friend. His face was flush red while stomping away and her laughing with tears in her eyes. Thank you Natsu for being his friend and bringing him out of his shell. Back underground, Natsu had lost track of the masked man and now was trying to pick up their scent again. Weirdly, they had the scent of someone with perfume and almost feminine. He was not sure honestly, but he had been wrong before. Looking down, he saw Naruto sitting there in the remains of Deloria looking up at the moonlight. Naruto, what are you doing here? He looked at Natsu. Saving your ass, what else? You should know before they come. Urza is here and she is not happy with you. Natsu paled, fearing the worst. Oh shit, she is going to kill me. Natsu, relax, I promise she'll explain why she is angry before pummeling you. Natsu sweat dropped. That does not fill me with confidence. Naruto laughed. Don't worry, I'm sure it will be fine. Natsu still shivered in fear but saw him having a longing look on his face. What's wrong? Naruto looked at the fire dragon slayer. Nothing, just thinking of the past and how I hurt the people I loved by running. Natsu looked serious and sat down with him. Why did you run? Naruto sighed. People were planning to start a huge war over me, my friends and new family were going to fight to protect me. But I didn't want that, so I decided to leave, that way the enemy would look for me instead of picking a fight and potentially killing the people I love. Oh. Natsu looked up at the moon and then back at Naruto and smiled. I'm not sure if I would make the same choice, but I can tell this much, you really did the choice you thought was best. True, you hurt your friends, but you did it with them in mind. No matter what, I think they would love you even with this and are only angry as they were so worried. He sounds just like. In a split second he saw a person with silver blonde hair for just a second. Maybe. Naruto smiled, knowing them, I'm going to be spending a lot of time making up to them. He then laughed, some are going to take more than others, I mean some are scarier than Urza when she is mad. Natsu paled. Seriously? Oh yeah, it is scary, but they are really sweet when you get to know them. Natsu looked and smiled. Sounds like they would fit into our family. Naruto laughed. You have no idea how right you are. He then turned sad and smiled. Hey Natsu. Yeah? If you had a friend that did something horrible and you know nothing can change it, what would you do? Natsu looked confused. Not sure honestly, I would hit them in the face as hard as I can and explain why I'm doing it while knocking them out. Naruto looked at him and saw how serious he was and laughed harder than he ever had in the last few years. Natsu was a little confused but smiled, seeing how happy he made him with his comment, and laughed too. Everyone arrived, seeing the two teens sharing a good laugh and joking here and there. Urza wanted to confront the fire dragon, but Leston shook his head with his sister joining and smiling at him. Remained behind to confront her other student. Let him have this. It has been a really long time since I seen this. What? Leston smiled, seeing a younger Naruto and another teen with two others standing around them with smiles and laughter in the air. Since he had someone he could truly come to care for and love as a brother again. The group turned and saw the joy between the two, and Gray smiled. Yeah, let's wait for them outside the temple. Happy for you, Dragon Breath, glad you finally found someone to relate to. Gray walked away from the boy and so did everyone else, leaving the two to talk and just enjoy a brief bit of peace. Time skip. Natsu had sweated like crazy seeing an angry Urza. He expected a lot of things. A punch, a slap, or her threatening him with her sword. What he did not expect was her to hug him and cry into his shoulder. He quickly learned from everyone that Urza was trying harder in expressing herself honestly and telling them why she was like this. She did comment he was still in trouble, but she was more terrified for him, knowing how dangerous missions like this are. Natsu felt like an asshole. He dragged Lucy and Happy on this, along with forcing Gray to join. He was at fault, and even knowing what was awaiting him when the master got them back, he knew it was the least he deserved. However, he was happy to know that after this successful mission, Naruto would become S-class for sure. Meaning they had another in their guild and 2 future members that were powerful as well helped as well. Natsu apologized to Urza and the others for dragging them, telling them this was for his ego and he shouldn't have dragged them all along for it. So he told them that he would take the punishment for all of them. Soon, the group was happy again, with Gray finally having some closure and the group seeing maturity in their team. Naruto on the other hand was dealing with Kirika, looking him over constantly for injuries, with him assuring her he was fine. But she would not have it, and without anyone knowing how, she had most of Naruto bandaged up. He looked at her brother, who was conveniently talking to the other villagers and being hit on by the women in the town. Apparently, after they defeated Delioria and having Ur's expertise, they shattered a barrier over the island, turning the villagers back into demons. This revealed the man from before that brought Natsu and the others to be Bobo and a demon as well, and now happy to see the island cured of their insanity. During this time, Lion and came down the mountain with their followers to apologize to Gray and the group for almost killing them and endangering the village with their actions. Being very insistent by twisting the boy's ear and him having a few more bruises than before, was happy to see her students finally talking again. However, she could tell Gray still resented Lion for his actions and was only doing this for her and nothing else. She could accept that for now. So turning her head to Naruto, she nodded her head. Yes. What do you plan to do from here? She looked up at the sky. Not sure, honestly. I think I might just travel the country a bit. Kinda been hiding out most of my life, but after being frozen for so long it'd be nice to get out there again. Naruto smiled. Well, that sounds fun. Trust me, traveling can be some of the best times, especially meeting new people and finding new things to eat. She laughed. True, and I'm eager to do that again. Turning her head, she smiled sadly. It is sad though. What? She looked at Naruto. My 2 precious students are fully grown and don't need me anymore. It makes my heart ache. I was not there for them all these years, but I'm happy I was able to give them the future they deserved. Naruto looked at the woman and smiled. You're a better woman than most. Naruto frowned and shivered. I know some that don't share that same feeling, doing whatever they can to make a child suffer for the minor things of life. Really? Frowned at Naruto, who just shook. Is this someone you know personally? Naruto smiled sadly at her, and after removing the bandages on his back he lifted his shirt. She is horrified to see the scars. My mother did this to me. Trust me, you're a great mother and someone that Gray is proud of. Never forget that. Ur's eyes watered. She couldn't believe what she saw on the poor boy's back. His mother did this to him. She couldn't imagine doing that to either Gray or Lion, no matter what they did or said to her. Her own daughter, the one she lost, she would never have dared laid a harmful finger on her and would love her to the ends of the earth. I'm jealous. Naruto looked at the sky, and saw the small smile on his face. Gray, Lion, they had a mother's love. Me? I had those close to me and those that I called family, but never a mother. He laughed. It is kinda scary how like I am with your students. This confused her more than anything else. What do you mean? I have a rival out there as well, someone that I once called my best friend in the world. They did something I couldn't forgive or forget. But no matter how evil they were, I can't turn my back on what we had all those years ago. He clenched his fist, but sadly we don't get a happy ending like you and your students, because in the end. He turned to her with dead eyes, when we meet again, only one will survive. Naruto walked away from the woman, leaving her shocked and horrified of the fate that awaited him. Naruto didn't know why he told her. Maybe she gave him the feeling of someone that he could talk to. Maybe it reminded him of the wish of having a caring and loving mother. Who knows, but he knew one thing from what he told her, and that was his destiny was coming, and when it comes, he was not sure who would survive in the end. After the party, Naruto was sitting on the boat in the lower decks with Natsu running around on the decks, happy to experience the life of someone without motion sickness. Gray was just ignoring him while talking to his teacher, who decided to tag along with their trip. Urza was watching them with a smile on her face, and Lucy was just happy she got the golden zodiac key from the job. Leston and Kirika were making sure the ship was proceeding to the nearby port before being released to go home. Naruto was not eager. Now that these two were here, the others were going to come, and there was not telling how they would react to him being a mage in another country. Worse, he was afraid this meant his family would come for him now knowing where he is and try to drag him back so they could use him more. Naruto. Turning his head, he saw Leston coming below deck. Listen, there is something you should know. I was planning on telling you this when we got into town, but I think it is better you heard this now. Okay, what? Sitting up, he looked at his longtime teacher in hand-to-hand and weapons. Naruto, Kushina Uzumaki, she is not your mother. Silence, neither of them said or did a thing for a duration of time. Naruto having the feeling of ice water being dropped on his body leaving him speechless. What? I said Kushina was never your mother. In fact, she is your aunt. Naruto looked at Leston and he could sense the tension and the rage coming off Naruto. Leston, if you're lying. My sister would have killed me if I had lied about something like this. Naruto looked closely, just staring straight at him with his dragon, trying to calm him down to prevent him from doing something he might regret. After a few minutes went by he sighed and looked at the ceiling. Then who was she? Leston sighed and rubbed the back of his head. Your mother was known as the Dragon Priestess. Your mother is famous in our country for her talent and skill in taming and slaying dragons that crossed her path. Kushina was never half the person that your mother was and considered a second-rate warrior. Sadly, your mother was someone that never liked being in one place for too long, loving to travel all around and do things that she wanted on a whim. So that means she could be. No, she is dead. She died giving birth to you. Her final wish was for you to be in the hands of your godfather, but sadly this went unheeded by your family and they are being charged with it. He shook his head and sighed, sadly your father is still a mystery. From what we gathered she traveled to some far-off country and after arriving there she encountered him and soon you were created from their time together. I see, so then he is still out there. Leston nodded his head, but Naruto asked, what about Kushina and Minato? Do they know about you guys knowing? He laughed a little. Oh yeah, they know, more they are in hiding after many of their former friends and allies found out as well. Most of your former clan is furious that this information was concealed, that they considered them traitors and disowned them from the family and have appointed your grandfather as the head of the family again. Naruto laughed, serves them right. But still it is nice to know the clan at least is making the right choices in repairing their broken reputation. Naruto smiled, might send a letter in the future to my grandfather to let him know that I forgive him for not being there after being lied to all these years. But. Naruto looked at Leston for his question. But nothing. I forgive my grandfather as he never really harmed me or did anything to me. In fact he was appalled with my treatment. But that does not change that the clan is not my real family. He smiled at Leston and without warning closed the distance before hugging him tightly. The elf was shocked, he was expecting Naruto to hit him, denying that this information was true, but he accepted it. What the fuck happened him in this place to change him so drastically from the pessimistic boy from before? You and the others are my family, I'm starting to realize that. Just like Fairy Tail, I'm starting to understand how much you all mean to me. So let me say thank you, big brother. Leston smiled, hugging him back. Anything for you, little brother. Looking up he heard the boat dock and the captain shouting that they are here. It looks like our ride is over. Yeah. Naruto smiled and walked to the top of the boat, time to go back home. Leston didn't know why, but when he watched Naruto walk up the top of the ship he swore he saw a different person in his position. I wonder why does he seem so familiar? Magnolia. Naruto arrived home and he was greeted with cheers from the guild and welcoming hugs by some of the people there. He laughed and they partied while Natsu was dragged off by Makarov to be lectured on his actions. Naruto could only laugh at the once brave teen paling at the punishment that waited for him. For the rest of the day, he just sat in the corner mopping until Gray went over and motioned for him to bring it on. Soon a fight broke out between the two and they continued sparring with no magic and Urza watched closely to make sure things didn't get too out of hand but smiled at their fist fight. Taking in their form and how to help them correct it in the future. Naruto he just watched as Leston scared the shit out of some of the men of the guild for staring at his sister with lust. He even fired a bolt of lightning when Loki got too close and he laughed seeing the man running from the usually calm and cool Leston. Kirika just sighed and quickly brought him some food and a drink, offering to feed him. He could see the envy in the men's eyes and just thought it was hilarious as they did not know her terrifying side that came out when she was annoyed. Naruto soon found his raiment spilt and in a moment of rage, he quickly leapt into action and starting fighting both Natsu and Gray for spilling his food. Hey, the man rarely had ramen and he would be damned if someone dared to spill it when it was in front of him. Especially when Kirika did it, as surprisingly her cooking had gotten better over the years. Naruto had to spend a little time casting the repair spell again to fix up the place after he was done beating the crap out of everyone around him. Then Naruto found out Kirika and Leston would be joining the guild, so they got their own guild marks, with Leston having it stamped on his neck in blue and red, while his sister got it in an intimate spot on her thigh, making him blush at the location. Also, Leston threatened several men with his axe if they dared to peek at her mark. Marahan laughed as her brother was the same way, and all Kirika could do is sigh at how overprotective he was of her, and she told Marahan. My heart and soul belongs only to one person, and that person is Naruto. I would never dare let any other man do something to me that is his by right. Let's just say that Naruto got a little flustered at the idea and he was on the receiving end of some teasing for a while. Unknowingly Marahan was annoyed by this proclamation. A few days passed and Natsu was still taking his punishment in stride. Apparently he took full responsibility that it was his idea and that Gray and Lucy were innocent in this matter. The master, appreciating this, only forbade Natsu from taking missions for the next month while having him do some chores around town without magic. Which was probably for best, as he was doing all the punishment and that honestly he would have been expelled for his actions to begin with. This was more of a slap on the wrist compared to what he could have gotten. Hell, he offered him some chores he could do at his place to help with getting his punishment up sooner, as the place was a mansion and a chore itself. Oh yeah, Naruto moved out of his old place and moved in with Leston and Kirika, who had brought a portal home in a ceiling crystal. They had been using it as their home away from home for quite some time. Upon settling into Magnolia, they found a plot of land and put their home there, and now were settling in. Which is why currently Naruto is leaving the large mansion and heading into town to reach the guild. Naruto had Kirika following him along with Leston, knowing that the only reason they were like this is that they were worried he would disappear again. More so, they still were talking about going home sometime in the future. But he told them that he was happy here and in no rush to become a king of any kind, plus training his own magic at this time and mastering the stuff Harlem wanted to teach him was his top priority. Arriving in the guild, Naruto saw people running and shouting with Levi slamming her head into the table. Apparently something happened and he was not sure, he wanted to know. But seeing everyone, or at least some of them, crying, he figured he might as well ask. What the hell is going on? Naruto, thank God you have to help us. Loki grabbed his shoulders and this led to Kirika getting a tick mark and twisting his arm behind his back. Please refrain from touching his holiness, perverted scum. Cut it out, it's me, Natsu. Naruto looked at him in confusion. No, you're Loki, nice try though. No, I'm serious, I remember the talk we had in the cave back on Galuna Island. Maybe, but that is not. He quickly whispered something that he picked up with his draconic hearing. Well, I'll be it is Natsu. How can you be sure? Turning to Leston, Naruto deadpanned. Only he would know about what he whispered. What was it, your holiness? Naruto sweated. Nothing important. So Natsu, how the hell did you end up like this? The teen cried tears. I don't know, I read some kind of mission on the board and when I did there was a bright light and I woke up in Loki's body. Then Lucy was in Gray's body while Gray was in Lucy, Urza is in Happy while Happy is in Urza. Naruto looked, seeing what he was saying was true, with Happy having that stupid looking grin on his face but on Urza's body. Interesting. Naruto looked at Murahin doing some poses with the master's staff at her side. I'm guessing there is more to this story then? Yes. Turning his head, he saw Levi sigh. You see, I tried to undo the whole thing, but in the end I was only able to get Lucy and Gray back. But the spell then spread to the others and soon almost everyone has switched bodies with someone. Naruto looked around the room, seeing people running around and panicking all over the place, and Naruto could only sigh. Can I see the mission briefing that did this? Sure, here. Naruto took the sheet and after reading it for a few seconds, fell to the floor laughing. Oh my god, you actually fell for this. Ha 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 ha. Holy shit, this is priceless. Leston, curious, looked at the scroll and quickly turned his head and released a cough. It is pretty funny. Indeed, Kirika laughed, seeing the contract. Wait, you mean you guys know this? Levi was shocked how casual they were being about this whole thing. Yes, you see, the spell that was casted is a prank spell. The spell switches the person with people nearby at random. But the trick is that anyone that tries to undo the spell but messes up only adds more to the spell as a whole, making it affect more people around them. Damn it. Are you telling me I'm stuck like this? Turning his head to Loki Natsu, he shook his head. No, calm down everyone, this spell wears off in about a week. Everyone paled. I can't be stuck in this body for a week. I don't know if I can stand to be a cat that long. Naruto sighed, seeing Urza and Murahin being the most panicking about their bodies. Not surprisingly, since he knew what they were going through. Relax, everyone, look, I can switch you back, but I can only do one pairing an hour. Naruto put his fingers out, showing a ball of light. You see, this spell originates from our home country, and trust me, we've been caught in this in a variety of ways. Hell, I was in Kirika's body for a short while and some other women's body. Trust me, it is weird to have something like that happen. Kirika blushed, remembering her own time in Naruto's body. She knew for a fact her holiness was something akin to gifted in certain manners. Indeed, I remembered when the king ended up in your body and did that. Naruto glared at Leston for bringing this up. You swore you would not bring that up again. I can't help it. He smiled at the teen, the actions were just too funny, especially the look on your face. Naruto growled. Drop it. Turning his head, alright, since I can only do this once every hour, I'll start with Master and Murahin, as she is freaking out the most about this. Yes, please. The master gave a very feminine gesture and made Naruto turn green a bit. Save that for when you're back in your own body, right now it makes me uncomfortable. Turning his head to the master, plus I think you are overreacting, as the master would never do something unbecoming in your body. Makarov and Marahan's body nod his head. He's right, I respect you girls' privacy and would never do something that would violate the trust you have in me. Well, I might be a little perverted, you're like my own daughter, so I would never do something to violate that trust. Marahan Makarov smiled. Thank you, master. Naruto nodded his head and put his fingers on the foreheads of Makarov and Marahan. He soon pulled them away, leaving their bodies lumping and two glowing orbs at his fingertips. Crossing his arms, he put them against the foreheads of the original person and soon took his hand away. The two woke up and smiled. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Yes, thank you, my boy. Well, I enjoyed the new experience. I can tell you it is nice to be back in something so familiar. No problem, master, Marahan. Marahan smiled wickedly and leaned over. Here is a thank you gift. Without warning, she captured Naruto's lips in a deep kiss and then pulled away giggling. You should know my gratitude is something of a rarity, so I hope you appreciate it. Leston heard the sound of snapping and saw his sister and sweated a little bit. Oh my, it would seem I broke the railing. Everyone saw her holding the metal railing and her gripping it to the point that it was bending in half. A tick mark on her forehead hinted at the rage she was feeling at this very moment, that and the golden aura forming some kind of mask behind her did not help. Everyone sweated while Marahan just created her own aura and mask appeared behind her. Oh my, destroying property in the guild is unbecoming of a lady, wouldn't you say? I wouldn't know, as a priestess I don't really have the same obligations other than to serve my holiness's every desire. She pushed her breasts up making them bounce, and I'm more than equipped to handle his every desire. Marahan gained a tick mark of her own. Though I'm not sure about that, after all, size is not important but performance, and I think you might be lacking in that department. Naruto could only sweat drop at this and wondered. When the hell did Mira become so attracted to me? I mean, we barely interacted to begin with. You don't really get how magnetic your personality is, do you? What do you mean? All I did was alright. Yes, display of strength, talent and skill along with a kind heart play a hand in this dumbus. Great, Naruto sighed, knowing was going to become worse when the others eventually showed up. In the next few hours he had managed to switch people back into their bodies and got several boob-filled hugs from Urza and Kana, who also added a hot kiss for getting her back in her proper body. Naruto blushed hard and soon this started a fight between the three girls and leaving Naruto processing what the hell just happened. Not before Urza gave him a kiss on the cheek and blushed, saying that she was happy to be back in her own body. Naruto felt this was more intense than the others and this only seemed to make things worse, with the others arguing with her and soon a fight breaking out with them. Foreign land. Are you sure about the reports? Hi Danzo-sama, we have found the dragon host. The old man hummed while rubbing his cane. Good, make preparations. We will use that feeble guild as a means to get our weapon. Hi Danzo-sama. The man disappeared from the shadows, leaving the bandaged rapt-faced man to glare in the darkness. You know, once we get him back the kingdom will fight us for him, right? Danzo looked behind him and frowned. The kingdom won't dare oppose us when we have the ultimate weapon in our possession, Minato. A blonde-hair man frowned at this comment while having a white Haori. You know, it was your genius idea of using him as a living battery. If we had not done that and just. You dare to question me, boy? Everything I do has a purpose, something you can't see, of course. Minato frowned. Oh really? So losing your eye to the black-haired teen and losing half of your forces to him as well is part of your divine plan? Danzo glared at the man for his mocking tone. Minato on the other hand just blew off his glare and walked away. We will get our forces together for the joint attack with Phantom. Make no mistake, if they get in the way we will kill them for this. Danzo heard the man leave but sighed. Foolish brat, only the stupid would believe in the dark guild that masquerades as a light guild. Danzo rubbed his wrapped arm, but soon it won't matter. When my weapon is back in my position, then I will no longer need any of you fools and will claim what was mine in the first place. In another part of the village, a white-haired teen princess was glaring at the letter she had received. So you're in Fiori, my love, well, it is time for me to come and claim you. Soon she sung one song and a giant fire dragon appeared from the sky and she hopped onto its back, letting it fly her away. Chapter end. What if Naruto has dragon family in fairy tale? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.